and gentlemen, welcome to episode 46 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. My name's Dave McRae. He is Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. We appreciate your patience and sticking around. Yes, Tony really appreciates it. Obviously, Tony was having a few technical issues with his router on his end, but hey, it happens. You guys stuck it out. You're still here, and that's what matters. Tony Michael, it's been a minute since you and I have actually had a chance to communicate.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a month.
In your country there for
That's right. You were
about a week or so.
Visiting the old...
But here we are. How the hell are you?
I am doing really, really good. How was, first of all, how was the trip out to LA?
It was good. It was a good trip. It was a busy trip. And lots to do, obviously, between the stuff that I was doing for the Voice Arts Awards. And then, of course, getting together with Cecil and Vince and Miko and Nora and doing the life cast for Dylan's new Ninghtmare. And then I had the chance to have dinner with Mickey Yablans and his beautiful wife and son, which was really cool. And then other things, I went to Kimmel, was able to catch an episode of Kimmel. And then we went to Jeopardy, was able to catch an episode of Jeopardy, and then everything else going on with it. It was just a really busy week. Normally, when I'm in Los Angeles, I like to get over to Pasadena and see the Myers house, but I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the time. So when I'm in LA, I usually stay at the Roosevelt, which is right on Hollywood Boulevard. A very sort of historic, classic, old hotel. It's where the very first Academy Awards were held back in 27, I think, something like that. Anyway, it's a very prestigious, old, historic hotel. I've loved it ever since I stayed there for the first time about five years ago, I think it was. And because that's where I usually stay, the Elm Street house and the Doyle houses, or the Elm Street house and the Doyle and Wallace houses, are just literally down the street. So they're really easy to get to, but the Myers house is in South Pasadena, which is just a little bit of a trek. So that's why I didn't get over there this time. But it was good. Didn't take home the gold this year again. But another great evening, and just being there amongst everybody was totally awesome. How have you been?
Oh, I've been great. I mean, you know how I feel about award shows and all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't think your work needs to be validated with a trophy. You do good shit already. So,
no, I appreciate that.
It sucks when you don't get it, but at the same time, I no-showed the one time I was nominated for an award, had one of my photos up on Times Square, billboard right above American Eagle with a bunch of other photographers. I just fuck it, I ain't going. I'm not going to go deal with those fucking hipsters fucking drinking their coffee and shit and being Mr. Joe Blow, cool photographer. I'm like, no, go ahead. And after that, I was never invited to shit ever because I just don't care, man. I really don't care about awards.
Oh, I totally understand. No,
So, yeah, for you, that sucks, but
well,
like I said, you do great voiceover work to begin with, so fuck them. That's my opinion.
I appreciate that very much. I did a live stream when I got out of the award show on the back lot of Warner Brothers, and it was probably about, I want to say like maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So it would have been like 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. And somebody asked me, I forget who it was, maybe they're even in the chat room now, but they asked me, they said, Dave, what is the best part about being there? And I had to think for just like 2 seconds. And then I thought, well, at the end of the day, the best part about being there is actually just being there. I mean, to be like every actor
amongst your peers and shit.
Yes.
Sure,
and when you are working at that level and you are nominated for an award, I mean, look, every actor wants to win. I mean, of course we do. But at the end of the day, as cliche as it does sound, being acknowledged at that level by your peers and being at Warner Brothers and being there with the likes of, Peter Cullen and all these amazing talents, Bob Bergen, the voice of Porky Pig and Tweety and everybody. I mean, last year, Sigourney Weaver was there. Rosario Dawson was there. I've walked the red carpet with William Shatner. I've got all these things. There we go. All these things, or like being in that environment is surreal. And that in and of itself, like, yes, you want to win, but that in and of itself is almost an award. As cliche as that sounds, it really is, because it's just really cool. I don't take it for granted. And every time I'm there, I've been very fortunate enough to have been nominated 4 times now. And when I'm there, it goes so fast because I want to soak it up, right? Like, you're on the back lot, and you're looking at everything and you're talking to everybody and you're walking the red carpet, you're doing the photography and you do like all these things and you're trying to sort of like take a visual mental picture and try to absorb it all because you don't know if you'll ever be back, right?
Sure.
So it's one of those things that, that in and of itself, I think is just the coolest part about the whole thing. So maybe I'll win one day, but at the end of the day, I'm very fortunate to do what I do. So yeah, it was a really awesome week.
Very, very cool. So you ready to do planes, trains, and automobiles?
I am ready to do planes, trains, and automobiles. Who is ready? 67 people watching. Maybe some more people will tune in, although we do understand this isn't really our target demographic here in terms of the type of movie we are watching. But
we promise we're going to get back on track very soon.
You know what? How can you not talking horror, man? Well, because, man, it's the American Thanksgiving this coming Thursday, and we thought what better way to celebrate than to do one of the classic American Thanksgiving movies of all time, and it stars one of the greatest Canadian comedians of all time, of course, in John Candy. So, I mean, we're like, there's some overlap there, which is just amazing. So we're going to watch Planes, Trains.
Gone over 25 years now.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So let's do it. All right, here we go. I'm going to get ready here on the screen.
Oh, just let everybody know where we're at the starting point.
Oh, right, of course. Those of you who are going to watch along with us, Tony and I are just, we've paused it just as the Paramount Pictures logo is on the screen and you begin to see the stars sort of kind of take that shape. That's where we've paused it. So if everybody is ready for that, we are going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, here we go. Some planes, trains, and automobiles, baby.
I was just thinking the other day, about the fact that he's been gone for 25 years, that it would be great to have a John Candy movie right now because it's been so long.
Wouldn't it?
It would. It really would.
Yeah, it would because, I mean, John Candy, as large as he was, his size was never the driving force of his comedy.
Right.
Now, I can't say I loved. I appreciated Chris Farley for what he was able to do in the very short period of time that he was alive. But when you look at Chris Farley, whether it's Saturday Night Live or whether it's, Tommy Boy or Black Sheep or, Beverly Hills Ninja, him being fat was generally what made him funny, and
Sure.
they capitalize on that. With John Candy, I mean, there were certain things where they played into that, but at the end of the day, his size was irrelevant. He was charming and he was funny and his comedic timing was so good and it made it that much more funny because maybe he had a little extra weight on him, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but it wasn't the brunt of his comedy, which I absolutely love. This opening scene is hilarious, by the way, because I think everybody has been in a position where they're waiting for somebody to make up their fucking mind.
And Steve Martin, he's the perfect straight man, and his timing as the straight man is always it's great. Anyone that you've ever seen Steve Martin work with in a film, it's whether it's with Candy or it's Martin Short and Chevy Chase and Three Amigos.
Yes.
Everybody seems to kind of elevate themselves when they work with Steve Martin on a film, and you always
100%.
get a good movie.
100%. I mean, listen, Steve Martin is a legend. John Candy, although he passed away 25 years ago now, he's a legend. And I mean, Martin will go down as one of the great cinematic. I mean, comedy has changed a lot, but certainly he is one of the greats. And of course, his very first movie was in 1979, I believe, The Jerk. If you guys haven't seen Steve Martin's film, The Jerk, you've got to watch it. It is hilarious. I've seen it I don't know how many times now, and every now and then I bust it out and I watch it because it's just so fucking funny.
The crazy thing is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles came out when?
87, I think.
And Steve Martin still looks the same. That's the crazy part. He still looks the same.
Well, think of this. When Steve Martin did this movie, he had been doing movies less than 10 years.
Yeah.
He had been doing movies for less than 10 years. Well, and John Candy too.
Kevin Bacon's little cameo.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon's cameo. I think they should have bought into the Friday the 13th thing where they pan down right here where he's on the screen, and he's eyeing Martin from across
this is
the street.
Now
pan down.
Right? He had just done Footloose, right?
Yes.
So
pan down to Bacon's crotch.
Oh yeah, because I think Footloose is like a year before, right? And
Footloose
he's in that,
no, Footloose was like 84, 85, somewhere in there. Yeah, it was a couple years before, I think. This is great though. What a great small short cameo to have. But I think they should have bought into his big boner from Friday the 13th and just pan down. And I think that should be a staple, that every movie that Kevin Bacon is in, he just has this gigantic boner. You're messing with the wrong guy. Oh, I love this. I love how right from the very beginning, Del Griffith is responsible for the beginning of the shitty day that is about to transpire because he tripped over his trunk, right? And that's why he didn't get to the cab. So, and Del wasn't even there. It was just a matter of circumstance. But, I think it's so great. I love this too. Anybody that would pay $50 for a cab would certainly pay $75. Not necessarily. I love this. I know these. This is one of those films where I've seen so many times where I kind of know the lines as they're about to come, When was the first time you saw this movie?
Probably when it came out. I mean, I don't really, because this is kind of one of those family movies. I don't know if maybe my dad brought us or my mom. I don't know. My mom wouldn't have brought us. My dad probably would have, because this is one of those like family type movies. And I don't have any memories of seeing it in the theaters.
Families changed a lot over the years.
But it was in the 80s. This would have been one of those like Home Alone type family movies.
Well,
Uncle Buck.
I don't know, because there is it. I think this film was rated R because of that scene with the I want a fucking this, a fucking that, a fucking that. And,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
I don't know. I want to say it was definitely probably in the 80s, maybe early 90s was the first time I saw this. Because like I said, I don't have any memories of seeing this in the theater at all. And that would be the reason why.
Oh, yeah. Trying to find the rating for it.
Where are you at? Just so I know that we're at the scene.
Oh, I'm at the scene now where the cab just drove over the suitcase.
Yep. Okay.
And we're just seeing him in the rearview now. Yeah, that's right. The skyline. He's getting off the bus now. I think we're about the same spot. About the same spot. Corbin Lim said, "Yeah. Hey, Dave from the UK. Finally caught you live. Have you seen the Wrong Turn franchise? If so, which is the best? Which is the best? You too, Tony. I've seen the first Wrong Turn. I haven't seen any of the others."
That's it. Yeah, I just seen the first one, so I couldn't tell you.
I have no idea.
First one was decent. It was good for that time. That was during a stretch there where they were coming out with movies like that type of types of movies.
Yeah. From what I remember, it was good. What I remember. He loves to give you noogies.
Matthew Lawrence.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about this. And didn't he go on to be in Boy Meets World as well towards the end of the show? I think he was on Boy Meets World.
He's had that kind of ebb and flow type career.
Yeah.
Kind of the hallmark actor there now. He's doing a lot of that stuff with like Candace Cameron and all those people from that period.
Candace Cameron, that's right. Fuller House. Yes. I love this. Look at the book that John Candy is reading. It's fucking hilarious. Just look at the book he's reading. He's just so funny just even being there. This is great.
Canadian Mounted.
The Canadian Mounted. And I love how they do this flashback. It's actually in the airport. Like
I know you. Do I know you?
Yeah, do I know you? But then look. I love it. Why actually show the flashback when we can recreate it just in the airport with a door, I know you, don't I?
Candy with a stash. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you like him with a stash?
Yeah, I think it was a nice sort of thing to put it on him because Candy had already done The Vacation, he had done Summer Rental, he had done
Great Outdoors, right?
Great Outdoors was I think it was the year after this one. Because I think this movie was 87, if I'm not mistaken. It was 87, yes. So The Great Outdoors, I believe, was 88. John Candy. Oh, man. Del Griffith, American Light and Fixture, Shower Curtain Ring Division. That's not now, though. He says that on the plane. Jonathan Nichols says, First Wrong Turn is by far the best. I'll have to take your word for it. I haven't seen any of the others. Chastity Smith says, Steve Martin and Father of the Bride. Love that movie. Oh, yes. Yeah, that was early 90s, like 91, 92. Father of the Bride with him and Martin Short. Yeah, that was a good movie.
You can put this movie, even though, it is rated R, it's in that run of like the John Hughes style type
100%. 100%.
Yep. Movie, Uncle Buck, Home Alone, Father 100%. Of the Bride. All those movies just have there's just like a similar tone. They could all literally be, even Parenthood, which is another Steve Martin film. They could all like be in the same cinematic universe because they all have that same aesthetic look.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. No, for sure. And this is a John Hughes film. So I mean, it was directed. It was directed by John Hughes. Yes, he died. Let me just see here. He died in 2009, 10 years ago. I remember. I remember this. He was walking. He was walking in Central Park, I believe, in New York, just out for his daily walk or something, and he had a heart attack.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, 10 years ago now, though. That's hard to believe. Hard to believe. Poppy at 129 says, love Kevin Bacon cameo. He loves you too, buddy. Look at that. Look at that. O'Hare Airport, all the flights canceled, all that shit. Jason Knight says, my dad said John Candy was so funny. As my dad tells the story, John Candy showed my dad around for his grade 9 orientation at McNeil High School. Very cool. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to meet John Candy, but my father, who was a journalist here in Canada, had a chance to meet him on a few occasions. And I have a photo of him and my dad somewhere.
Yeah, he just strikes me as one of those dudes that would just be a really cool dude to hang out with. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like
100%.
Everybody just seems like you would just gravitate to him. He would be everybody's friend and just really cool.
Oh, yeah. The scene just passed here where it was Del Griffith, American Light and Fixture, Shower Curtain Ring Division. It's so like a shower curtain ring division. There's a division. Very proud of that. Like that's what's so funny about it. It's not in your face comedy, but it's ironic comedy. Yes. It's just so stupid. It's funny. Like a shower curtain ring division, and he's got this old pamphlet, best in the world. It's like, what the fuck? And he's taking off his shoes. Yeah. Oh, he's about to take off his shoes here. And I love where he's like, oh, yes, don't let me stand in your way. Don't let me stand in your way. The last thing I want to be remembered for is a loudmouth that never knew when to keep his big trap shut or whatever. And he keeps going on, ironically, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what's so funny about it. He played this role so well, like the straight man and the comedy. It was so good. He's taking off. Can you imagine some guy taking off here? Like, I was just on a flight. Can you imagine? I can't imagine the person sitting next to me taking off his socks and going, holy shit, eh?
Do you think a movie like this works today?
In terms of the humor or in terms of just the overall story?
Humor and story.
I don't know, because it just seems today that the comedy is more what is, when, and I say this loosely, but what seems to be working, or what people tends to want. No, it's actually not the Home Alone.
No, I know, but it just has that aesthetic look.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
For years I actually thought it was.
Yeah, no. You can totally tell, like when you see the front exteriors in the day.
That's right.
You can totally tell.
Very similar, but both homes are in Chicago. John Hughes loved filming in Chicago. I think films today, comedy films today, by and large, tend to be very sort of sexualized and
Not funny humor.
Well, it's built around sort of like
funny humor. That's
yeah. Well, toilet humor or fart jokes or drunk, like The Hangover and so. Like, I mean, it's not that there isn't kind of some funny humor. Like, I thought Horrible Bosses was kind of funny, but at the same time, when you watch that, it is littered with very dirty sort of sexualized. And it's not that that isn't funny, but the pure sort of ironic funny that you got from the 80s, whether it was The Great Outdoors or Home Alone or Uncle Buck or Planes, Trains or The Breakfast Club or, I mean, just go down the list. You don't see that too much anymore. And I think it's just because the demand for the more gratuitous, sexualized toilet humor, fart, all that kind of stuff is just I guess what people want to see now. But this is my favorite comedy of all time.
There's certain movies like, okay,
this and Vacation,
Pineapple Express, is a movie that I thought was funny because it fits the tone of what the movie is. It's a stoner movie. That's what it is. That's what Seth Rogen and Franco set out to make. They made a stoner movie, which the last time you really got a good stoner movie, you could say was with Cheech and Chong. I mean, you could put some of Kevin Smith's movies in there, depending on how you look at it. Like Clerks can be sort of as a somewhat stoner film, but not really. I don't put Kevin Smith's movies in the stoner category, but
right.
But as far as like the humor you're talking about in Pineapple Express, it fits. But for the most part, you're right. It's just that over, like American Pie, the way they sold the sexual humor that works.
Of course,
totally works in American Pie,
100% because of the subject matter of the film.
Right, which that was probably the last film that I laughed my ass off at a theater.
Yeah,
the first American Pie. I mean,
yes.
I don't think I have laughed that hard watching this movie ever in my entire life.
I took my then at the time, my 14-year-old girl cousin. She was a cousin, and she still does. Her name's Marley. Marley, if you're watching, how you doing? She lives out in BC, and I lived in Ottawa. That's where I grew up, which is here in Ontario, obviously. And every summer she would come to visit. And we went to see a movie. I was in 99. I was 20. So she was 15 maybe 15. God, I can't remember. Marley, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I fucking love this car. Oh my God. Can you imagine driving in this car?
Today it would offend everybody.
Back 100%.
Then, hell yeah.
I love the nothing to see on interstate, but interstate. Anyway, I took Marley to see American Pie because, of course, back in those days, the internet was really, we even in 1999, you weren't looking up movie times on the internet. You were still going to the back of a newspaper. Right. And, I didn't really know what American Pie was. It just looked like a funny teen comedy. Well, here I am in the theater. And of course, if you remember the very first American Pie, it begins with, because somebody's what. And I'm sitting there with my 15-year-old cousin, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, it's my cousin. Marley, I love you. If you're watching now, you're like 36 or whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. But that was funny.
But I would agree with what you said about the humor and the humor of then versus now, that this is like when I meant by family, like I could sit my niece and nephew down, even though they're young kids, and I'm okay with them watching this film. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Versus to like current comedy, I couldn't do that. I'd have to watch it first to make sure it was okay before my sister, chopped my head off for saying, "Why are you showing this to my kids?"
Right.
Back then, they didn't care about this stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. No. I agree. Super chat from Kevin Bacon's Boner. Nice. Obviously, that account was just created because it's not possible that account has existed for a long period of time. But I fucking love it.
But the fact that you did that and gave us a super chat, that's
the fact that you created that account and paid to let us see it, I think is amazing. Pardon me, guys. What's cracking? Kevin Bacon's Boner. Yes, I love it.
Hey, dog's bone in the house.
Fucking love it. Whoever created that, man, props to you, buddy. I fucking love it. At the scene now, this is so funny. No. That's later. That's later in the movie. We're getting to that point.
Davis, do you prefer the tone of comedy movies such as this one to the ones where today? I think we kind of sort of answered that. I think as Dave was just talking about. Current comedy versus the comedy back then. I'm more partially fond to the comedy back then. Yep. There's so many, not even just in the John Hughes style of comedy. But like Dave said, you had you got Stripes, which is a great one with Bill Murray. You have like the Bill Murray type.
Oh yeah.
Caddyshack and
Ghostbusters was a comedy.
Ghostbusters. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, is a
Vacation.
Vacation, all those. It was just, I don't know, man. Comedians just went to the fucking edge back in the day, but they didn't need to like do it in your face. You know what I mean? There was just a way how Chevy Chase could handle a scene, and he can make it very sexual, like in a Vacation movie with Christy Brinkley, I think was her name. The blonde. But without going to where they need to go with it today to make it funny.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Oh yeah. No, 100%.
You're like in Vacation, he's fucking flirting with her with a bologna sandwich.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
you see the oxymoron in that in itself.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I mean, like,
yep. Oh, 100%. Vacation and this movie are my favorite. I think my two favorite comedies of all time. The first Vacation.
Favorite comedies of all time. Animal House is definitely up there for me. That we have to do an Animal House one.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh yeah, John Belushi, absolutely.
Belushi, yeah. I was just to say I love some John Belushi.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Was thinking of one of his bits in Saturday Night Live.
And what's so great about this film too, for those of you that maybe haven't seen the film, I'm not going to spoil it because I think there is a couple of people in here that aren't familiar with it, at least as much as we are. But there's
Jason, thank you. What About Bob? You absolutely that movie.
Oh, What About Bob is one of my favorites of all time. Oh yeah, it's probably my favorite Bill Murray comedy.
Are you kidding? Straight Man, Off Man. That was so well played.
So good, so good. But what I like about this is that, and it's in regards to the character of Dell, they're setting something up here which you don't see coming, which was brilliant. And it gives a lot of heart to the film. Yeah. What About Bob? Oh my God. He's not gone. Is this some kind of radical new therapy? You see, Dreyfus and there's some truth to that because they didn't get along. So, well, I mean, they kind of got along, but not really. I love this. So we're at the part now where Steve Martin is getting out of the shower at the Braidwood Inn and a little tiny washcloth because clearly Dell was in there prior to him. And I mean, this whole movie it's simple. I mean, there's the one scene that puts it over the top and probably launched it into the rated R territory, which is the scene where Martin goes apeshit on the car rental woman and drops about, I don't know, 12 or 13 F-bombs in about 30 seconds. And that would definitely have put it past any sort of PG. But beyond that, there isn't anything that's, I mean, beyond that, it is your typical sort of, it's a situational comedy, and it's full of irony and heart, and it's just, you don't see films like this too much anymore.
No,
that
not
is
anymore.
That is certain. Let me see here. Did I miss any super chats? I hope I didn't. I think Kevin
Mark
Bacon's
McCaffrey,
boner is the only one.
You like Christmas Vacation? Yeah, I love Christmas Vacation. Yep. That's another great. That's definitely in my Christmas movie rotation that I usually watch throughout the course of December.
Oh, for sure.
That's always that and Scrooged with Bill Murray. I always watch that.
Sure. I would say the vacation movies for me go. The first one that I like the most is the first one.
Oh yeah,
World, and then Christmas, and then Vegas, which isn't all that great.
For me, it would be 2, and then Vegas.
Okay, yeah. It's funny. European to me is my least favorite. I like certain things in it, but as a whole, I don't know. It just felt off to me from where they came from the first
I just still love the fact that Rusty and Audrey changed from movie to movie. I just love that. It's just the continuity of Clark Griswold and Helen. Is that is that her name?
Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen.
Yeah, Beverly D'Angelo.
I think Rusty's older than Audrey in the first movie, but then Rusty's younger than Audrey in the second movie.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, they had to keep changing the kids out because obviously, they kept growing. I love this too. We're at the scene now where Martin and Candy are in bed together, and Candy is doing the whole like, I, as a kid, man, as a teenager, I laughed so much to this because I thought it was so absurd. And this is what makes this movie so funny. Imagine this. Like, you got to imagine you're stuck in a hotel room with this guy, or this girl. I mean, if you were a woman, you probably wouldn't likely accept an invitation to, be with a guy, but you might if it was a woman in this kind of a circumstance. So yeah, exactly. So imagine yourself, you have to room with this lady or this guy, and this is what he's doing or she's doing. It's like, what the hell is going, it's like the lack of objective awareness that this Dell guy has, that maybe I'll go into the bathroom to do it, or no, I'm just going to do it right beside. It's just so silly. It's so funny. But Candy shows a lot, like Candy in this scene, especially, of course, when Martin starts sort of making fun of him because he's frustrated. His performance is so nuanced, but it's brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's that switch that where Candy can go. Candy can get into the comedy. He can be serious, and then he can man, rip your fucking heart out really quick.
And Martin plays it beautifully right here when he's about to kind of go, yeah, screw you, you spill beer on the bed, yeah, and who was that talked my ear off on the plane? And he starts going off right now, right? And then he starts really mocking him. He starts getting really personal.
Yeah.
And just look at Candy's face. And he's not moving his eyebrows, he's not crying, it's so nuanced, but it's beautifully done. And every single time I watch this film, it pulls on your heartstrings. You're like, dude. Yep. And I think it's made almost even more powerful now because he's gone, and he died so young. I mean, for those of you that don't know, who weren't maybe old enough or even alive, John Candy, he died in March of 1994, and he was only about 43, I think, or something like that.
Very young.
Very
young.
Years
older than us.
Yeah.
You really think about that, it's like, man, I ain't ready to check out just yet,
Yeah. And I mean, obviously he was a very big man and he died of a heart attack in his sleep, but look at his face here. Just the way he's staring at him, like he's really hurting him now. Martin is really getting there now. And you can tell that this isn't the first time that somebody has laid into him. That he, because he's a bigger guy, maybe he was bullied as a kid. Maybe he went through, he's had a good heart. He's always tried to do the right thing. He's always, he'd give you your shirt. He'd give you his shirt off his back, and then it's all coming back to him now. I mean, just look at that face on him. It's just he's a kid that was bullied. He was a chunky kid. Maybe he's been through this, and it's reminding him, And then look at that. I mean, just the way he's dealing with this, and then he looks up and and he says, if you want to hurt me, go ahead. If it makes you feel any better, I'm an easy target. What does he mean by that? Well, he's fat.
Well, he's fat, off camera there, John Hughes is probably just sitting there going, wow.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're watching Martin perform, you're watching Candy perform. Yeah. You're the director. You're just like, okay,
dude. If I was the director in this scene, I'd be probably emotional. And not like bawling, but just really feeling it. And just the moment I say cut, I'd go to the both of them and probably just,
Who directed this?
give them both a hug. No, Hughes did.
Oh, no, that's right. No, Columbus directed Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Hughes wrote it. Columbus directed it.
Yeah. That's right. What a powerful scene. It's so subtle and so nuanced, but it's so beautifully done. And you really, because up to this point, you think this guy's just a funny, wacko guy who's silly and taking off his socks and shoes. And he's a shower curtain ring salesman. All of a sudden here, it's like the movie changes on a dime, and it's like, holy shit, I really feel for this guy all of a sudden, It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It makes me miss, he's a Canadian. Well, he's not just a Canadian legend, but he's a comedy legend.
And the funny thing is this is how well these two deliver their performance.
Oh yeah.
Because you want to hate Martin, but you don't. Because
exactly.
you sort of understand what he's going through.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean? You don't, it's like you like both of their characters.
That's right.
And that's, that's the actors, man.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, yes, it's the writing, but it's the actors making those words come alive and the performance come alive, because
100%.
You want to hate Martin for being an asshole, but at the same time, you're kind of like,
I get it. Yeah, exactly. Totally. I mean, you don't really want to be in either position. So you're being pulled, two ways to understand both of the characters' perspective, and that is brilliant. And then of course, the scene ends there, and now we get, we're going to the robbery, but just amazing. Let's see here. Macca525 says, "Hi Dave, I managed to watch Mandalorian. Oh my God, so good. Yes, I've seen the first 2 episodes. I'm going to watch the third one when I get together.
Get Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the next episode probably Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to it. So far, I'm enjoying it. I think
everyone's saying this, and it's good, and
yeah,
so far back to the old feel of Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah. So far, so good. I love this. I'm back in baby's arms. Yeah, I wonder where that motel is. I'd like to go to that motel.
Tell me not. John Candy's wife in the still photos that we see of her. Does she not look like Alicia? Could be Alicia Silverstone's mother.
Right? Little bit. Yeah.
You can see Alicia.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say her name.
Alicia Silverstone. Yeah, a little bit. I love this, right? And now we've like the contrast, like we go from that really serious, and now we're back to sort of, the comedy of the movie. And this is so funny. I mean, this is just like, and then Martin is like, wait a minute.
Well, yeah,
you
just
can tell
this like deep, powerful scene, and now they brought it right back into the comedy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And this is funny because both of them are completely lost in their sleep. Like they're exhausted. They get lost in the sleep. Obviously, they both think they're holding on to each other's wives. And then they sort of come to and realize, wait a minute. And of course, where's your other hand? Between 2 pillows. Those aren't pillows. I just love it.
I wonder how many times they broke to film this scene. I wonder how many times. Or did they look at each other and say, "Man, we got to get this in one take. We got to get this in one take."
They probably shot it a couple of times, but it may have been that first take that was really good.
Like, guys, we just need one. And they're probably like, "Come on, man."
Yeah, exactly. So funny. And then of course they have to act all macho when they get up, right? Like, yeah, see that Bears game? Hell of a game. Yeah, woo! Acting all manly. This is so disgusting, but so funny.
When you watch the scene. It's one take. You see the pan over to them.
Yeah.
And it's still rolling, and it's just close.
Yeah.
I'm positive Hughes was probably fucking with him and telling him, "Oh, guys, I need a wide shot."
Yeah, that's right.
Back position.
This is so gross. And I love when where Martin is actually drawing his face with John with Dell's on, and even that pair of underwear there would be too big for John Candy. Like that. That's what's so funny about it is that the underwear that he's got. There's no way. I mean, it looks ginormous. Sorry.
It's not the Home Alone house, but it just
looks like it looks like it. Yeah, very similar. It's a close cousin.
Like that aesthetic look. That's what he pictured. As far as like little town America. So that's not reality, bro. That's rich town America.
Yeah, no, that's a nice home. Both homes, both the Home Alone home and the Planes Trains home are in a very affluent neighborhood, I am sure. Let me see here. Wished Upon a Vlog. Oh, I love that name. Wished upon a Vlog. I love that. The movie reminds me. The movie reminds me of me because I literally never stop talking, and I'm like, that's a male version of me. Maybe another reason to add to me loving the movie a lot. But it's great. But it's a great story most of all. Yes. Well, definitely, as you probably have gathered, I know how to talk too. I come from a very chatty family. So I'm right there with you, Wish Upon a Vlog. I'm right there with you. I totally understand. We were robbed. Do you think so? That's what's coming up in a second. Let's see here.
Is there Halloween questions coming up? Yeah. Can't escape that.
Oh, there's Halloween. Zach Axiola says, would you consider Halloween Kills to be one of your most anticipated films of 2020? I would have to look at a list of what's coming out next year. I haven't really taken the time to figure that out. So
yeah, what is next year besides obviously Halloween? Although that is not in my most anticipated movies.
Yeah, I can't say off the top of my head. I don't think so, but I'd have to look at what's there.
I'm curious to see it, just to see what's going to happen. But I'm not like going, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, folks, if you, in case you haven't noticed, Tony has another Instagram page, which you can see on the title card there. The Tony Michael photo is his regular one, which you probably are already following. But he has another one, Tony Michael Pix, Pixx, which, Tony, you'll be showing a lot of sort of other things as well, right? Your landscapes and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I wanted to start separating the content, because I know the audience I've attracted on Instagram is primarily horror fans, but I do more than just take horror photos, even though I love doing shit. And as a creator, I think you can understand, you don't want to get stuck in a rut doing one thing continuously, because it can, you lose your interest to doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't ever want to feel like that when you're just shooting the same shit constantly.
100%.
So I kind of tested the waters this past week on Instagram stories and was just sharing some of my, I don't know, country landscape topography type photos, just showing you guys Georgia, basically. Not the landmarks of Georgia, but just like...
Can I interrupt you for just a second? Look at this. This is one of the funniest fucking... This is one of the funniest scenes. I mean, the way this guy is just all like...
I know, right?
Oh, it's just so... Can you imagine? And get your ass out here. And then, she, hey, she may be... What does he say? She may be something small, but she's strong or something. And she's like this little tiny thing. And she's pregnant as well. And she's got a baby. And I love this guy. And he went on to do quite a bit, actually. He was a bit character actor. Yeah. I forget his name now, but he's been in a bunch of shit. I love that, where he wipes his mouth and then he goes to shake Steve Martin's hand. And you see his face like, oh, shit, Look at his face. It's so good. It's so good, man. What did he say? I forget her name now. Mary Sue or whatever her name is. Get your ass out here and lift that. Oh, no, it's okay. It's like a tick. He's got a tick, lady. He's got a tick. Fucking love that. Where is she? Hang on a sec. I want her to get out of the... This is so good. She's got the baby in her head. So she's got to give the baby to the kid. And then she gets out, and I love the way she slams the door, because she is tiny, right? Look, watch this. Watch this. It's so good. Like, she means business. So good. I love it. Just like, that's right, fucking bitches.
She had her first baby sideways.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. Anyway, you were saying.
No, yeah, I was just thinking, man, I was looking at the topography of where they were filming this and all those classic cars that were out there. Like, for me, I like doing that stuff because it's, like I said, it's another creative outlet. And I was testing it out on Instagram this week just to see, like, okay, will people even like this? And enough people were like, hey, dude, you should just do another Instagram account, focusing on that, and then do your horror stuff here. So now at least I have two accounts where, one is going to be strictly horror. That's the Tony Michael photo. That will always now be horror. Even on the Instagram stories, everything's going to go back to just being horror stuff.
Cool.
But now my new one, that one could be a lot more me. It could be more my personal life. It can be the shit that I, share during this past week of all like the landscapes and the country area of Georgia, and then just fucking personal shit. Right. Yeah, that's why I started it. And, that's the cool part with Instagram is having, when you have like a creative idea, you're like, hey, I don't need to interrupt what I'm doing on my main one. I can just start a second account and just go from there and start creating on there.
Cool. So, right. Yeah.
Well, you know how it is, man. When you get 100%. Stuck doing one damn thing over and over and over again, you're just like,
it's one of the reasons why on my Facebook page, I titled it Many Things Dave McRae, because I knew that I just didn't want to talk about Halloween or horror. I mean, I want to talk about my voiceover work and what I'm doing and horror and little things that come to my mind that irk me the wrong way or grind my gears or funny little anecdotal things, or so people know that it's everything, right? It's not just Dave's Halloween page or something.
Tony Michael's Picks is going to be like, it's going to be city stuff in Atlanta. Like, it's not going to be just country. It's going to be everything. When I travel and I want to take something and I see a cool landscape thing, now I can share it with you guys on, because I know a lot of Instagrammers who do just the one theme stuff, and that's what I'm doing on my horror.
Awesome.
Like what your Many Things Dave McRae is on Facebook. That's what I want the new account to be. It's just going to be photographs of just everything that I see.
Awesome shit, folks. So don't, if that interests you, Tony Michael Pix, Pixx. You can see it on the title card underneath Tony's sexy face there. Yeah. That's a cool shot of the train coming through the tunnel there. I like that.
Yeah, definitely Hughes and his cinematographer were on point with this, and the lighting there with coming through the train like that,
Yep.
just that natural lighting and the haze.
I want to know where this young girl is now. Where is this young girl reading a magazine, Us magazine with Family Ties on it? Where is was she just an extra? Was she a aspiring actress? Did she go off to do anything else in her life or her career? Where is she, ladies and gentlemen? If you're watching right now, we need to get you on the show. Aaron Keller super chat says, have you or Tony seen Dr. Sleep yet? I have not seen it yet because I've just been so busy. Tony, you?
No, same thing. I have not had a chance to see it yet. I'm hoping. I'm not rushing soon to go see it. But it might be one of those movies that I might just miss. Yeah,
same here. I might have to wait till it comes to streaming because I've just been so busy, and this next weekend's going to be busy for me too. So we'll see. But it'll be there. It's not going to go away forever. We've all had these kinds of days where like we just want to get home, or everything goes wrong.
And you know what? Tell me not, right? All the big shit that goes wrong, you don't let bother you. What you end up letting bother you is the most minute little thing.
That's right.
That sets you off, and you're just finally, and everyone's looking like, really? Why are you pissed about that?
That's
it. It's an accumulation of everything that's happened.
That's
you know, you really think you should have, lost your cool before, but you didn't. You kept your cool, and then it's just that one last little thing that you're just like, what the fuck?
That's right.
And it's something so stupid.
That's right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And John Candy was actually a big guy. I mean he was big, yes, but he was actually tall as well. He was I think Candy was about 6'2" or 6'3".
And for his weight, that's a big dude.
Yeah, he was actually quite tall. And Steve Martin is about, I guess he's about 6 feet or something like that.
Taller than us, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But John Candy was not a short guy. He was a tall guy.
I will tell you this: your girlfriend should, not to interrupt you really quick, but I was just thinking of the train here. If you guys ever get a chance to do the tour, they do them. They have them all over the train across the U.S. It's pretty freaking cool. It's a fun vacation thing to do, and take a train across the country.
Yeah, they have them.
And all that shit like that. It's a fun trip.
Oh yeah, they have them here too. And you can take a train right across Canada, or the U.S. as well. Same thing.
Big shit, all the big landmarks.
Yeah, it goes right up through all the wilderness, through the mountains, through the prairies, through the flatlands, through everything. I mean, it's out from coast to coast. Yeah, I forget what it's called. There's a specific name. But that's actually not a bad idea. That'd be awesome. Nathan Oswald, thank you, Nathan, says, Candy died 25 years ago. Hughes died 10 years ago. Yes, we were just talking about that a little while ago. Hard to believe. And both died of heart attacks, believe it or not. Let's see here. The Manhammer AR-15 says, Mr. McRae, in your most humble opinion, my most humble opinion, are you sure you want it to be humble, or do you want it to be arrogant? I don't know. We'll see here. What do you think? What do you think is more iconic in overall pop culture consciousness? I love how you're using my phrases. The Psycho House, Bates Motel, or the Batmobile Batcave?
Pop culture consciousness? Probably the Batmobile.
Probably the Batmobile. But I just did a video, Tony. I gave you a shout out on it. The video that I uploaded yesterday, where I was talking about that conversation we had about a month or so ago, where what is the most iconic house.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But we can talk more about that after this is done, because we could get deep into that. But I think the most iconic horror house, based on a certain set of criteria.
Did you say horror?
Horror house. Yes, yeah. The most iconic horror house is
it's got to be Tattletales in Atlanta. But
that's true. That's true. Is the Psycho House, I think. This is so funny. It's such a funny scene because it goes to it plays into Martin's stiff character, right? He's stiff, he's nerdy, he's anal, and he busts out. No, exactly. He busts out a song that goes, 3 coins in a fountain, each one seeking happiness, which is a real song, but it's like that's not the go-to song that you want to bust out when you're trying to get everybody to sing on a bus. You go to the classic. Yeah, like you go to the traditional anthems, like you go to something that everybody knows that, it doesn't, which of course, and leave it to Candy to bust out Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. It's just so funny the way he's all like, oh my God, fine. It's like, you're such an anal fuck, It's so funny. He's so tight and,
Czechoslovakian ivory.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And look at the woman wearing them. What's really funny here is that the scene after this, I watched this because obviously the Canadian Thanksgiving is it's the second Monday in October, I think. Anyway, it's in October, and my girlfriend and I in October she came over and we had a nice Thanksgiving dinner and turkey and all the stuffings and everything, and we watched this, and she noticed something that I've never noticed before, and I've seen this movie like 10,000 times. When they're in the restaurant, which is a scene about to come up, in the background it looks like, and we stand to be corrected, but it looks like the waitress and a couple of the patrons are wearing Dell's shower curtain rings as earrings, and I've never noticed, which makes sense, right, because of the scene that just happened, but I didn't notice that before. You tell me. I
might be ahead of you. The 3 girls wearing it.
No, it's when they're in the restaurant and they're eating. It's a scene about to come up. Here.
It's happening now, yeah.
Right.
I think
now,
I might
look at the woman there in the background. Does it not look like she's got them on?
Yeah, it does.
Now, wait for the waitress to come over, too. I love this scene. I'm so sorry. They don't come back again. It's one of my favorite. It's so like, God, it's just so funny. They don't come back again. It's like, thanks, Del. Thanks. Thanks for making me feel better. And then that line right there, I've been away from home I haven't been home in years. Such an important, integral line that makes a whole lot of sense at the end of the movie. And, of course, you don't catch on to it, really, when you're watching this for the first time. And brilliantly placed, brilliantly done. Candy was such a good actor. He was such...
Pick up on it until Martin, goes back. And
That's right. That's right. You don't get it. Now, there's got to be another master shot here. There's got to be a master shot. They keep cutting to the close-ups, which makes sense. But I'm pretty sure they cut back to the master, and you see the waitress in the background, and it looks like she's got the earrings, too. But anyway... A great scene, great chemistry between them both. Martin is trying to politely, of course, usher him along because he thinks he can get to home faster. And he's probably right, although shit just keeps bringing them together. It was fate, right? They were destined to be in each other's lives. Okay, now where's the waitress?
Right there.
Right there. Oh, shit.
Too quick. It was too quick.
I thought there was a waitress that maybe I missed it. Maybe I was talking and yabbering and I missed it. But anyway, look again for those who watch this in the future. Oh, wait. Now that lady in the background looks like she's definitely...
The waitress, you can see it there clear as
right
day.
There.
The big ones.
Yes. Yeah. Does it look like she's wearing them too?
Well, again, the 80s, girls were wearing big hoops like
it's
that.
It's true,
man.
But doesn't that look like Dell's shower curtain rings?
It does.
I never noticed that before. And my girlfriend was like, are they? And I'm like, oh my God, I think they are. I think that's really, what a nice little detail that's just in the background. You know what I mean? I love that. Great job, John Hughes. Yeah, what a great scene. Another great performance by the two of them. I would have loved to have seen them do more films together.
Yeah, was this the only one?
I think it was. I think it was. Because he died in 94.
Yeah, and Candy only worked with Aykroyd once in The Great Outdoors, right? Or did he? No, he wasn't.
Nothing but.
Aykroyd, that was Bill Murray. Because Candy was in Stripes.
Candy was in Stripes. Was Aykroyd in Nothing But Trouble? Was that John Candy too? Can't remember now.
I think so.
Can't remember. Chat room will probably let us know, but yeah, no, I mean, I just they had such great chemistry. It was almost like Tim Conway and Don Knotts, although neither of them were really the straight man, really, but it was that kind of chemistry, and I would have loved to have seen them do another film, not necessarily the same kind of film, but like a buddy type movie again. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen it because they were so good together, so good. I feel like Trump, so good, just so good, tremendous, fantastic, the best, absolutely the best in the world, tremendous, the biggest, the brightest. Nick, super chat, done filming this was at 4 hours, different ending. Done filming this was at 4 hours, different ending. Nick, I appreciate the super chat, but I'm not quite sure what you mean.
I think something got crossed there. I think.
Yeah,
well,
done.
I'm sure we'll catch it again.
Yeah.
Nick, just ask it again. Just don't do it in a super chat. So you don't have to send it.
Just at Tony or I, so we're
Speaking of, I saw that. Macaw525 at Dave at Tony. Thoughts on RoboCop getting the Halloween 2018 treatment and getting a sequel to the original movie from '87? I mean, look, when a formula works, people are going to tap into it and start doing it. And then RoboCop is doing it, you know?
Yeah.
More movies from the 80s probably are going to do that.
If you go see it, they'll make it.
Yep. Pretty much. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I heard, though, Nightmare might be their HBO series they're thinking about, and then possibly bringing it to the theater. I don't know if that's a smart move.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the thing here. Yeah, because it's interesting.
I think that's a dumb move if they do that, but that's just me. I'm not.
I don't know. I got an interesting thought on it. Here is, of course, one of the funniest films or one of the funniest moments in the movie.
She's in so many great.
Yeah, she is.
She's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
She plays that character, that annoying character.
Yeah.
That she plays it perfect.
100%. And everybody has been in this position. Everybody has wanted to, and it's not her fault. Like, it's not specifically her fault, but she is the face. She is the face of the company, right? So unfortunately, she's going to get the brunt end of whatever is about to come. And everybody has been in this position. That's why it was so funny, because we all live vicariously through this moment. We've all wanted to do this to somebody, whether it's been a customer service rep on the phone with our cell phone or our internet provider or somebody in a store, whatever it is. We've all wanted to say exactly what Steve Martin is saying here. And I love this master shot where you just see this guy losing it at the desk, like the far away shot. I love that. I love the perspective of that to show, like, you know, it seems so real. And I don't really how your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that is fucking there. I love how she starts like, oh, really? Okay. Starts playing with her hair and everything. It's so good. It's so funny. I want a fucking car right fucking now. I love it. Can I see your rental agreement? She's so polite. That's so good.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah. So good. Like, it's almost like she gets the last laugh. You know what I mean? Which is fun. It's cute. I like that. Nick says, at Dave McRae, when it was done filming, I'm assuming meaning Planes, Trains, it was clocked at 4 hours. Hughes trimmed 2.5 hours from the final cut. It had a different original ending, also not the ending we're used to seeing. Yes, I believe that's on the special features.
It is on special features.
Yeah. A lot of films are much longer than what they are in a first cut. Long before a picture lock is ever done, because you're assembling everything together, and then you go back in and you start to weed things out and polish it up. So that's not unprecedented, but 4 hours is long. Yeah. And I can tell you right now that when he cut the film to 4 hours, it's not like he knew that, like he knew instantly that they couldn't leave it at 4 hours. Yeah. It's like scripts, you know, you write a script, and if it ends up being 180 pages, it's like, oh, but you get everything down, you get it all out, and then you go back in and you start to trim it and
maybe reshoot scenes, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing too. People always get up in arms about reshoots and
they've been doing that forever.
But what is perplexing to me is
not
that
always, but they
no, is that how people instantaneously seem to think it means something bad. Reshoots are, listen, when you go, it's like you being, I mean, Tony knows this 100%. You go out, he's a photographer obviously, but it's the same principle. You go out, you take a like, you know, you're on a shoot. And then you go back and you look at what you've shot. And then you make the decision, do I have everything I need? And it's like, oh, hang on a sec. No, I don't.
Shoot, like delete it because I hated every photo. I was like, this isn't what I wanted. I've got to redo it. I did that with the skull, with me, the Freddy picture, the skull,
yes.
Freddy's holding the skull.
Yeah.
I did that in a completely different location. Yeah. I hated how it looked.
Yeah.
And I scrapped that whole shoot that day because 100%. I didn't like how the photographs were looking.
I love very how particular. Martin's voice is like really kind of high because he was grabbed by the nuts. I love that. Fucking hilarious.
even landscape. I will drive literally 3 hours again because I took a shot, came back, didn't like how it came out the first time, and I go back at it because I knew the lighting. I knew when I needed to be there.
100%.
And sure enough, lighting was where I needed it. Made the photo 10 times better.
You know, for everybody that's watching, if you hear that a production, whatever it is, okay, is going out reshoots, that doesn't mean there's a problem. Generally speaking, you all right? Oh, did your thing freeze on you? Oh, hello? Are you still there? Oh, Tony is
good.
Oh, no, you're there? Okay, you froze for just a second. But
I think we just froze for a split second. Are we still live?
Yeah,
we're live.
Yeah, we're live. So for those of you that are watching, yeah, so it doesn't mean there's a problem. You know, it's generally speaking, you know, when there's a problem because something will come out, there'll be a leak, you'll hear that where there was some drama or something. But especially now, it wasn't always this case, but now especially, studios budget, they actually budget for reshoots. That's not because they anticipate that, like, I mean, making movies is, you go out, you shoot, you come back, and only when you start editing and start piecing things together do you really get an objective perspective of what you have. And then you make a decision by, okay, you know what? That's really good, John, but I think we really do need that thing. Do you remember that thing we were going to shoot, but we didn't shoot because we didn't think we need it? I think we do need it now. And they make this list of all these, and then they go out and they do reshoots. They go out and do pickups and reshoots and gather some more stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem. It means that they need extra stuff that they currently don't have, you know. Now, where there could be a problem is if they go out and they start reshooting, you know, scenes that they've already shot, and you hear, you know, there's you know, drama and people aren't getting along, but that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. Reshoots in and of themselves doesn't mean there's a problem. Most major motion pictures, especially at the studio level in Hollywood with $1 million budgets, not everything, but most will do some sort of reshoot, whether it's extensive, they need to shoot a whole sequence again because they realize that they needed this, that, and the other, or it's minor, it's pickups and, you know, things like that. So don't just, my advice is that don't worry if your favorite movie has gone into reshoots. That doesn't mean it's going to be, you know, that there's a problem. This is such a great scene too, with them in the car. Yeah. I always laugh at this because I love the way the seat, you know, like, why is the seat, what cars, I love this. What car seat goes, oh
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Yes, it's so fun. I love it. Like, the sound effects are nobody has a car seat, even in the 80s. Like, what the fuck is this? I love it, but it's great for this kind of a movie, you know, and it really gets the message across that, you know, he ruined the scene. And of course, this is so great. Candy lip syncing to Ray Charles.
Yep.
I love it. Mess Around. That's a great song, by the way, by Ray Charles. The Mess Around, really awesome. Let's see here. Chris Lawson says reshoots and George Lucas's favorite part of making a movie and ending. Well, listen, reshoots are important. I mean, you know, I haven't shot obviously a major, you know, multi-million-dollar feature, but even in the little shorts I've done, I'll come back in, I'll start assembling everything, and then I'll be like, fuck, you know what? I need that shot. I need to go back out there. It's the same principle. Only when you, not only, but often when you start piecing things together, you go, oh shit, you know what? We do need that. Oh shit, you know what would make this better? That. Oh shit, you know, happens all the time. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing because it means that they're, you know, trying to make it better.
Dave and Tony from Mark McRathern. Would you guys do a Halloween fan film, maybe do a direct sequel to Halloween 4? I would love that. I would love to have the budget to get Danielle and Ellie back together, and
yeah, we talked about that.
Justice to Rachel and Jamie's character. Absolutely, I'd love to do that.
And I think it could be done like a very small, like in terms of you could just have it as Rachel and Jamie Myers and maybe one other person. Like it's not like a nice short, tight, maybe 20-minute film.
Your last name to Myers. I like that. I caught that really quick. I wonder if anybody else caught that really quick. I was like, oh, I saw what he did there.
But I just mean that you could have like a tight 20-minute film, you know, and it's just about Jamie and Rachel, and
I'd love to do that and get them
awesome.
to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, these things
guys,
cost money, guys.
You deserve. That's right, Mark.
Yeah, and maybe we'll do that. Of course, I'm got Dylan's new Nightmare, and then it's me, Billy. But maybe we'll do that down the road, and we'll launch an
after you're done with all that. Yeah,
launch an Indiegogo campaign for that or something. That might be something interesting.
I think with your fan base on YouTube, you might be able to raise. You actually might be able to raise the funds for that because you've got a solid reputation for a Halloween guy on YouTube. So
we'll
I think hit that. I just don't know what it would. I mean, I can't imagine it would cost us too much to get both of them. Especially Ellie, I don't think it would cost a lot. Danielle, I don't know what her asking price would be, but I think given the context and if we were to approach her with something really valid, I don't think she would turn it down. You know what I mean? Because this is where it's coming into. Look at what's his name there? Oh my God, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank from Jason's Lives, who's doing now a direct sequel. Tom. Oh my God, I keep wanting to say Tom McLaughlin, but that's the director.
No, what's his name? Chat room will let you know.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. Getting old.
I love this. John Candy pulling on it. He can't take it. He can't take it. And he rips it, and of course I love the, are you okay? Yes, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's getting hot in here. You may need to take your park off. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Yeah, like Nathan says, Danielle Harris loves the Jamie character. That's what I'm saying. I think if we approached her with a decent fair amount, I think she would do it.
Tom Matthews. There you go.
Tom Matthews. Thanks, Nathan.
No, look, it's all about.
It's not a big feature. That's what I'm saying. That Danielle kind of falls in that same category as Tom Matthews. That's what I'm saying. Maybe back 5 years ago, they might say no. Now, because it's so different and fan films, the level and quality of fan films just get better and fucking better, and that's becoming the thing on YouTube now. I'm telling you, it's the dynamics of creating and movies and shit. The field is going to change over the next 10 years, and these fan films are going to almost start to become canon to these characters because they're so fucking good.
Yeah, no.
Character stories from Friday Nightmare or Halloween.
I have a lot I want to say into that, but I don't want to miss this scene because it's so funny. You're going the wrong way! Oh, he's drunk. How the hell would he know where we're going? Yeah, how the hell would he know? Thank you. Thank you. I love that. It's not there yet, but it's about to happen. This is it's so silly. Like, I mean, they're just, he wants to race. All right, let's go. Let's go. And you can see the smoke from the cigarette in the back seat. Just kind of rising up there a bit. I love that. I love how you can totally tell nobody's actually driving because they have their eyes off the road for far too long. And everybody's going like this. Nobody drives like that because you
Thank you.
You take the car off the road. That's one thing I hate. Now, John Candy's doing it right. He's just kind of doing this a little bit, you know. But nobody drives like this because you'd be in the ditch.
No, I know.
I used to do that all the time. I used to be like, make fun of my friends or whatever. I used to do it all the time. It's so funny. Oh, my cat, I think, has come in. Hi, Veda. How are you? What's shaking? Yeah. Yes, I know. I'm talking to nobody. To a cat, it just looks like I'm talking to myself. Which I do all the time anyway. I love this. This is great. Try. And I love the idea where you see, like, you know, Del as the devil, and it's so good because it's symbolizing that, you know, he's gotten you in this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, he's the devil. You know, it's like, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be in this fucking situation. He's evil. He's the devil. You know, it's like a moment of kind of like, oh my God, you know, so great. So great.
His hands are stuck to the.
And this is so silly too. Like your fingers wouldn't make those indentations. There's just no way, but it's funny. Really good stuff. I know. The Manhammer AR-15 says, Dave and T-Dog, do you guys think it's possible that someone can make a good Jaws fan film?
Jeez, that's. I mean, if you go with you don't see the shark approach.
I think the less you see, yes, I think you could. Yeah. I think if you, yes, I think you could.
Yeah, if you pull from Spielberg's MO and what he did for Jaws, and you don't see the shark, yes, it's just if you are going to do a reveal, you want to do some type of a reveal. How good is that shark going to look? That's the key thing.
That's the key. That's the key. Yep, that's the key. I love his laugh here. Wow. We can laugh about it now. We're all right, you know.
Which, you know, you could do, actually, thinking about it. You know, go up to Martha's Vineyard, do maybe a direct sequel to Jaws 2.
Oh, the people at Martha's Vineyard would just love you.
Oh, yeah.
Because they
despise the fact that that's the Jaws filming location.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, now that it's been like over 40 years that, you know, and generations have sort of changed over, probably not, but certainly back in the 70s, they didn't like that they took over their town.
No.
Let's see here. Didn't miss any super chats, did I? Oh no, I did not. Okay, good. Where's that Kevin Bacon's boner guy? It's just so fucking stupid. It's funny. It's so stupid. It's funny. Movie Chat and More says Tom was in Never Hike Alone. Oh, yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Mecca 525 at Dave at Tony. Thoughts on Disney remaking Hughes' classic Home Alone? And when they do it, should they put Macaulay in as a cameo or make a cameo appearance? One, to even touch it is stupid. I mean, you're talking about one of the most iconic holiday movies of all time that everybody watches every year. The thing with Home Alone is which they're going to set it in modern times and they're going to take advantage of the modern technology. Right there, it loses all the interest for me, because the thing that made Home Alone so special is the time period that it's in, the basic MacGyver-like traps that Macaulay Culkin was setting throughout the house. Today it would be too modernized. It just wouldn't have that same aesthetic look and appeal, and it will do like what a lot of remakes are doing now. It'll appeal to the current audience, but it will get compared to the original and it won't do as well as the original. You're never going to recapture. I remember Home Alone so vividly because it was the first movie I went and saw by myself with my friends, you know, no parent supervision or anything like that. And it was the first movie that I laughed really hard at. And the audience laughed as well, too. It was just one of those like experience that I don't experience too often with a packed house. And you got the whole audience into the film laughing your ass off. And then, of course, you're talking about the two iconic actors who played the Wet Bandits in Joe Pesci and what's his name?
Daniel Stern.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's just elements that you're not going to be able to recreate, and not having John Hughes and Chris Columbus behind it, they can do it, and it'll appeal to the new generation of people to go see it, and your new generations can see it's better because the new technology's in there. No, it's not.
Well, I just think it's unnecessary. I mean, it's you know, Home Alone worked in 1990 because, as everything that Tony said, now it's harder to do. I mean, so many parents have their kids hooked up to apps and cameras, and I mean, the probability of going on vacation and leaving your child. I mean, even in 1990, it was almost a silly premise, but you bought into it because of the amount of people. But today. You know, today I just, you know, I still think it holds up because it's not reliant on technology. I think it still holds up. I don't think there's any need to do it, really. I just don't. So we're at the scene now in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where, of course, John Candy and Steve Martin are having this bickering fight over the fact that Candy found Steve Martin's credit card in his wallet, and their car is on fire now. So it's just so funny. It's such a silly movie. It's so great. Kenny525 says, "Whoa, Dave looks different. I know. Look at that."
Stole his hat and put it on my head. I'll give it back to him after the show. That's what happened.
I've got, but there's a couple of photos on social media with me without my hat. I actually have hair. That's right. I have a full head of hair.
You and me both.
There you go.
Everybody thought I was bald. No, it was just a little summer phase I went through.
No, I'm just a hat guy. I just like hats. See, there's a hat there. I just like hats. You know, and but I certainly cannot. I don't have to wear a hat. And yeah, like there was a lot of things I was doing out in LA where I either wouldn't be appropriate to wear a hat or just couldn't. Like as if the car would still be drivable. Like it's so funny, but it's just
they made them like tanks back in the day, you know?
yeah, that car. Yeah, that's right. I love this too. It's a Casio. Ooh.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's so funny, obviously, is because Martin, I don't know what watch he sells him here. Is it a Rolex or something? It's some sort of expensive watch.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Candy, I mean, a Casio is something you could pick up at Walmart for like $15. Okay. Like really, it's just, and you can get higher end Casios too that may cost you, I don't know, a couple $100 or something, but it's generally it's a cheap, you know,
oh, for
brand,
sure.
right? So it's just funny that he tries to sell him his Casio and the way he, you know, drapes it over his arm because he's a salesman, right? So he's got to really show it like, you know, it's like, but look, it's a Casio. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to say goodnight. Kevin Bacon's boner is back. Have either of you guys seen 2011's The Big Year with Steve Martin, Jack Black? The Big Year? Isn't that Year One? I thought that was called Year One. Maybe that's another movie I'm thinking of.
I think that's another movie.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen it. The Big Year. I have not seen that movie. Yeah, is it a Rolex here?
Yeah, Frank, you're right. It's wintertime. That's right. The beard comes back in the winter. The hair gets longer, you know, because we're actually starting to finally get cooler. We're actually having a really good fall. Did you have a good fall up there? Because we're now peaking. We're in our peak because we're obviously a few weeks behind you.
Well, what happened was that the day before, hang on a sec. Here it comes. This is so great. Would you like a room? That's what he fucking sounds like. Would you like a room? It's like Trump. Hey, it's great. It's amazing. I have a little problem. I don't have the 4250. Do you have what did he say? Do you have something in a nice watch? Oh yeah, something $18. No, I have $3. I still have actually my American money. It's on the counter out there. I gotta put that back in the bank. Yeah, look at this. That watch looks like it's probably like a $15 watch he picked up at, you know, JCPenney or something. I don't know. It's just so funny. What was your question again?
Shit, what was it? Damn.
You had asked.
Chat room, somebody play me back. What did I say?
Yeah, what did Tony ask me? Fuck, I forget. I forget what you asked. Something about. Damn it, I forget what it was. The chat room will let us know if they even remember. The J Hookmaster says you can see the boom mic a few seconds ago in the top right corner. Really, I did not notice that.
Yeah, if you looked closely,
you could see it. There's a few movies from in the original Vacation. There's a bit of that too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and almost every episode of Three's Company you can see the boom mic.
That day.
And almost every episode of Three's Company you can see either the boom mic or the shadow of the boom mic. I'm a Three's Company fan.
Kenny, what does that mean? Tony, do you partake in the... Oh, yeah. I just got it. As you can tell. Took me a second to get... I get what he's saying.
Oh, we were talking about fall. The fall.
Oh, yeah, because we're in our peak. Usually we peak at the late of November.
Yes. Now, this scene here with John Candy in the car... and he's talking to himself. It's finally trying to let the audience in on the clue of what's going to bring it all home at the end of the movie. And it was beautifully done. Again, another great performance from Candy. His performance is nuanced and you believe it. You believe in this character. You believe in this guy. And it was so well done. Our fall, we had a beautiful October, typical standard, you know, Ontario, Midwest in the States, kind of, you know, East fall. And then, believe it or not, the day before we left for Hollywood, on November 11th, we got 5 inches of snow.
Oh, damn.
And now that, and so we got it, New York got it, Boston, like Chicago got it, we all got it. And that is that's not normal. Like we don't usually get our snow that stays. Like maybe we'll get a dusting and then it'll go away. And the snow that falls that actually stays on the ground for the winter is probably not till like around Christmas time, beginning of January. That's when it kind of happens. So when it snowed on the 11th, I was like, what? Like to that degree, I'm out shoveling. There's like plows out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And then of course now it's as green as can be out there with the leaves on the ground and everything. It's back to fall. So yeah, I went for a run before I did the show tonight, and it's beautiful. It was about
we're you know, I always laugh, you know, when the Halloween rolls around, it's still very green here, and I'm like, well, according to John Carpenter, it's always green around Halloween. You know,
that's true. That's very true.
But for us, we do get the picturesque Thanksgiving fall, because for us, fall really hits its peak this time of year, like this, you know, this week and this upcoming week are you want really good weather to enjoy it, because it's very picturesque. It's that typical fall look. So yeah, we're just a few weeks behind you, but I managed to go out over the weekend and get some fall shots, and then it's just like, I love that time. I do love this time.
It's beautiful.
You know, we're weeks behind you, while I'm seeing everybody a few weeks ahead of me enjoying it and shit. And it's like, oh, I can't wait. Third week of November. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely, it's beautiful again. I mean, it can be beautiful in the winter too, but it was like, really? Like, thank goodness the very next day we were flying to California, because that just would have been brutal. Let's see here. Frank Riker says, thank you for the super chat. Frank the Tank says, Steve Martin's watch is a, am I saying this right? Piaget Altiplano? Piaget. I've never heard of that. Well worth over $1,000 US in the 80s. Interesting. Well, he must have been desperate for a room, because he paid for that room for probably about 6 weeks with that watch. Fascinating. And I guess that's the contrast, right? You have this really expensive watch, and then of course Candy's Casio from, you know, Target or something. That's just great. And this is, I like the scene in the motel room where they're sucking back the drinks and the Doritos and it's just fun. It's
bullshit.
That's what it is. That is Tony and I right there. Two dudes and some bullshit. Right, that's what it is. Yeah. Laughing, chilling, having a few drinks,
smoking weed, not having drinks. Do you know I haven't touched alcohol in 5 years? Not because I had nothing. It's just I'm not an alcohol drinker.
Well, you know what? Good for you.
Like the taste of beer. I've never.
I'll tell you this.
I don't care for it that much.
I don't smoke weed, not because I'm against it or anything.
I love my weed. I will never. I'd love my weed.
Like I don't care. I mean, I'm around people all the time that smoke weed. Yeah. I've probably been high just because of the residual effects. But I'm just not
that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a smoker per se. Yeah. And I'm not really a big drinker either. The last week I was having dinner with Mickey and his wife and his kid, and I had a glass of wine there, and also a glass of scotch, because Mickey comes out. He's so funny. He comes out. He's like, all right, come on. I'm having some scotch. You're going to have some scotch. I'm like, all right, I'll have some scotch. So we had a scotch, and woo, I haven't had scotch in a long time. I was like, woo, wait. I was like, woo! It's been a while.
When you don't drink a lot, your tolerance is real low. You're a cheap
But you know what's interesting is that I don't drink a lot, and I think because I had dinner with everything, right?
Carved up.
Yes, his wife made a beautiful dinner, like some pasta, some meat, some quiche, a salad. It was just, so I think because I was eating, it didn't really affect me at all. I didn't really feel anything. And my girlfriend had I think 2 glasses of wine, I think. And, but it was really nice. It was a nice evening, but that was funny because I remember when I think the last time I'd had a scotch was probably, a number of years ago. And I take a little sip of it. And I'm like, whoa. And of course, Mickey's a pro. Like, he's just sitting there, he's a pro. but I just was like, woo, wee. It was good stuff. You could heal wounds with scotch. Let's just put it that way.
And you could the arm out, making the turn.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you could totally heal wounds with scotch, I'm telling you. And this looks so ridiculous. And of course, as a kid, because they say that, the cop here says, do you have any idea how fast you were going? And like, no, and blah, blah, blah. And the cop's like 78 miles an hour. And of course, being in Canada, I was like, what's that in kilometers? Well, it's about 125 kilometers an hour, which is fast. I mean, that is fast. That's over the speed limit for sure. For sure. Or 120 or whatever it is. Anyway, let's see here. Oliver Mercer says, hey, Dave and Tony, have you seen the classic comedy Career Opportunities with Jennifer Connelly? It has a John Candy cameo, and it is, I have not.
I have not.
I've checked that out. This is so
was
great.
JFK? Because I just watched JFK the other day on the anniversary of Kennedy. I always watch.
Yes, on Friday. Yesterday.
On Friday. Yeah, 22nd.
Oh, sorry. That's right. That's right. 22nd. Yeah.
Was that Candy's one of his last movies?
One of them.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was good. I mean, people forget he was in it, but he was really good in that.
He was. JFK was 91 though, so Candy died 94. I think Candy after that he made Only the Lonely, Delirious, Wagons East, Canadian Bacon. Yeah, he had about another 3 or 4 movies after that, but it was one of his. I think it was his last dramatic role.
Dramatic one. Yeah.
Yeah, he was brilliant in that. This is so great. Now you have no functioning gauges. Nope, not a one. But funny enough, the radio still works. I mean, as crazy as that sounds.
I love it. What's his name from Laverne and Shirley? Annette O'Toole's husband. What's his name? Oh my God.
Oh,
oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
I'm drawing a blank too.
Michael something.
Yeah.
Michael something is his name. But he's great. You know what I mean? I like him.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's great too. Fantastic. This is such a it's such a feel-good movie. Now, there was a bit of this that was cut because if you notice at the beginning of the scene, Candy has both gloves on. And then about halfway through the scene, he suddenly only has one glove on. If you actually watch the deleted
error, yeah, you know.
Yeah, if you watch the deleted scene, there's more to the scene. And I suspect it was cut for maybe pacing. Maybe they wanted to really try to get it into that 90-minute sort of area. Sure. Because when I watch the scene in its entirety, I think there's 2 scenes in this movie. The scene on the plane at the very beginning of the movie when he's doing the whole socks thing in the shot. That's an extended scene. Or sorry, that scene was cut down because there's extra where I think the wait or the stewardess comes by and yells at everybody, and that's a whole thing. And I can understand why they got rid of that. It felt like a natural end point where they actually currently have it. It feels good, feels tight. Okay, good. But with that scene, I watched it and I remember thinking, I think they could have let that go. Like it was the stuff they removed was still kind of funny and made sense. But I have a feeling they probably cut it just to polish it up just a bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Back and like what we said, when you got to go back and maybe redo something, That's
it, right? That's it. Just because they do, don't, if you hear a movie's going out for, unless you hear there's a disaster and somebody's been fired or somebody's not getting along or something, unless you hear something like that.
Michael McKean. Thank you, Frank. See, chat room got our backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. They got our backs. Great shot of the Chicago skyline coming up here with the now what's known as the Willis Tower, not the, of course.
It's the Sears Tower. I don't give a fuck.
It's the Sears Tower. Yeah, I still refer to the Rogers Center in Toronto as the Sky Dome. I'm not calling it the Rogers Center. It sounds like a shopping mall. It's the fucking Sky Dome. And of course, for those of you that don't know, that's where the Blue Jays
I'm one of those who will forever. Pluto's the 9th planet, so fuck you, NASA.
Yes.
Science books and modern whatever science. You get the fuck out of here. Pluto's a 9th planet.
Yeah. This scene here is the beginning of the moment in the movie where it's that I can only imagine
revelation of like, shit.
I can imagine watching this for the first time. My dad actually told me he saw this in the theater with a buddy of his out in, I think, Vancouver. My dad was out in Vancouver for some reason in 1988 or 87 at this time, probably covering something. And I guess in their downtime, they went and saw this film. And my dad said he's never laughed so hard in his life. And but when it got to this moment and this kind of, it all started to come together, it was really that, oh my God, like it really gives weight to the movie. It gives maturity to the film. It makes the movie better. It's not just, well, I don't want to say too much. I mean, most people in the chat who are watching along probably know, but I think there was a few people there that said they were not as familiar with the movie as others were. So I don't want to spoil it, but
it's definitely like, like from my VHS tapes, like it's one that I saved. Like when I saved my VHS tapes, I was saving the greatest hits in my collection, and Planes, Trains was for sure going to be saved. And it's 100%. One of those movies when people ask me, hey, what's a good Thanksgiving movie to watch besides Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving? I always say, hey, Planes, Trains, and Automobile. That's usually the first one to go to.
100%.
Or Rocky. I don't know why I started watching Rocky on Thanksgiving
great.
Like forever ago.
And the flashback, or not the flashbacks, but the
piecing
memories, right?
Yeah.
The memories that Martin has here, and you can see, he's thinking about, he's on the subway home now. He's thinking about his wife and his family. He's excited to go home. He's thinking about the dinner and the turkey, and even does that with his mouth, which was a nice little sort of subconscious thing that the character did, because he's salivating at the thought of having a nice big fat turkey, and he's thinking about seeing his wife, and
now he's reflecting back on
exactly. And then he starts to think about the things that Del was saying, just certain little things that seem inconsequential when you're watching the movie, and even in the moment they just seem like shit that was said, even to the character of Neil. But he starts, and it's that right there, that one line right there. Then he looks the other way and he's thinking, wait a second here. And then he thinks about what he said to him, at the very least, you have a woman you love to grow old with, right? And then he's like, wait a minute, like, he didn't really, and he starts to think, Del didn't really do this, or he didn't really say this. And then I haven't been home in years. And it's like, he really starts to piece it together. At least he thinks, he thinks, wait a second, And it was it adds such a different dynamic to the ending of the movie that is really great. It's just really, really great.
And Ernest, you literally took the words right out of my mouth, Ernest. I was going to say, and it has that nice Phil Collins-like sound music playing in the back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Literally, literally what I was just about to say while Dave was
awesome.
Talking. That's exactly right.
Yep.
Every time that scene happens and the music's playing, Phil Collins.
Yep.
I'm just waiting for it. What's the song? In the Air of the Night? That's the one. Yeah.
Coming in the air tonight. Yeah. Del, what are you doing here? He says. And you can see that Del is sort of like, he's trapped, right? Like he's trapped in the sense that I have to tell him, And of course, for those of you that are not watching and just listening to us, Del says that Marie, which is his wife, who he's been talking about the whole movie, has been dead for 8 years. So and that he doesn't have a home. Yeah. So his home is just traveling, and it was such a moving, and Candy is so brilliant. Like I feel it gets me emotional every time I watch it. I'm just like, holy fuck. Every time
you go.
Yeah, that's right. Way. And then of course,
sorry, it's just the music hit.
It's great. It's great. And then
House.
Neil feels for him, and then he's, he basically is obviously like, dude, like you come home, with me and at least have a Thanksgiving dinner. And what's so great about this is that it ends is that there's like, it's such a powerful, they've laid it out so well and so powerful that you don't need to know what happens next. Like verbatim, what happens next. I mean, he brought him home. They obviously had a very nice Thanksgiving dinner. He probably helped Del he probably maybe stayed there for, I don't know, maybe a couple of days, a week or something like that, and helped Del get on his feet, right? Maybe he even helped Del at his, get a job at his work or something. Like, I'm not saying that he would have gone that far, but you can fill in those gaps to think that a real friendship was...
Del and him went on for a good friendship.
That's right.
Watching their kids get older, whatever.
That's right. And eventually Del got his own place, and maybe he met somebody and was really like, it was the beginning of that
extended family type thing. Yeah,
that's right. But because this was so beautifully laid out, it was great. Sorry?
Typical John Hughes tearjerker coming up.
Yeah, coming up. And then, of course, in a few seconds here, the classic sort of still frame on John Candy's face. And it means so much more now that he's gone, because he was such a Such a great spirit, that guy. And you see him, of course, kind of thinking about probably his wife there. And there's a moment, there's not resentment, but a moment of just living vicariously through Neil, that he's so happy that Neil has this opportunity, that he's thankful, you know.
If you notice, the staircase is actually in the same position of the Home Alone house, too. It's right in front of the door where the door sits. Even though it's not the Home Alone house, there's a lot of similarities to this. I love that. Just smile. That's it. That's how you.
But what's so great about that is that he comes up from probably feeling emotional. He comes up like, you know, like this, and then goes. Like, there's that transition of, I'm sad, but I'm really happy for them, you know, and that he can live vicariously through it, and that he knows now that his life, that he doesn't have to be that homeless guy anymore. He doesn't have to lie anymore. You know, there's a bit of freedom there, and he's smiling, and that he's, you know, it's so great. It's such a great moment.
Classic.
Yeah. It's such a great moment. So that is the classic, the John Hughes film from 1987, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring Steve Martin, John Candy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of commentary that Tony and I were giving and answering your questions. And if you watched along, hope you enjoyed the movie as well. So if you have any other questions that you would like to ask Tony and I, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I caught this comment before, and I was starting to laugh. I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. I was laughing at the comment because Flintstone, Tony, you should have played Ted Bundy in the Netflix show. You're a spitting image of Ted Bundy. Like, I don't know if I should take that as a compliment.
You're the spitting in it? I wouldn't. Ted Bundy. I don't think you look like Ted Bundy at all. Ted Bundy at all.
Was a womanizer, so I mean, I could take it as a compliment from that, but what he did to women, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't think I could actually do that.
That's hilarious. Zach Axiola says, thoughts on Ewan McGregor reprising his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi for Disney Plus series. P.S. He's my favorite Star Wars character, so I'm hyped as hell. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see what, I mean, you know, let's see what'll happen.
Stories that Hayden may return to play Vader in the series, to have some moments with him and Vader. I don't know how true that is, but I've just heard some stuff now dropping, you know, and whatever.
Yeah, I really don't care about, like, you're
not gonna see him. He's Vader. You can have anybody play Vader as long as you have the voice.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna say this, okay? I'll be honest with you. I'm enjoying The Mandalorian. I am. It's well produced. It looks good. It's gritty. All the Star Wars fans that are like, I fucking hate Disney, are going to probably enjoy it because it's got that gritty, old school kind of, okay, fine. And Obi-Wan will be kind of the same thing, and I'm sure it'll be good and all that. Okay, fine. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about all this filler stuff. And what I mean by that is, these stories, like we're going back now because The Mandalorian, of course, takes place. It's cool. It looks great. But if The Mandalorian didn't exist, I wouldn't care, because I'm a forward kind of going guy. And I think it would be so cool to do a Star Wars series or a Star Wars film or a trilogy that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers. It's set maybe in a different galaxy. And it's this new thing now with a new, you know, villain and you know, something that we can, you know, stand on. It's like and that doesn't mean it's not connected to everything else. You know, maybe they know about the shit that happened with Luke because they've heard it across the galaxy or something. But at the end of the day, it just seems like everything that's being created is, you know, people want, how about a Yoda show? How about a Vader show? How about not? How about something completely. And it's not that The Mandalorian isn't new. It is new, but of course it takes place in the same galaxy, in the same universe between, you know, Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, and it's cool, and I'm enjoying it. I am. Don't misunderstand me. But I just don't think we need to keep revisiting all these. You know, I mean, granted, The Mandalorian is a different character. Fair enough. It's a good point. But it still is like, it feels to me like they're filling in these gaps, and I just don't, like, if it didn't exist, I wouldn't care. If they had said we're not making an Obi-Wan, like, you, of course, he's your favorite guy, right? So I completely understand why you're like, no, I want an Obi-Wan kind of thing. Totally understand, 100%. But for me, if they never announce an Obi-Wan thing, I'd be like, okay. Like, I know as much as I need to know about Obi-Wan. I know as much as I need to know and have seen as much as I need to see in regards to Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Luke, Lando. Like, I know. I don't need to see. I don't need everything explained to me and filled in for me. I like a bit of mystery.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm a deep hardcore book collector. I collect kind of the ones that I know are really good, and I'm content with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm content. Yeah. That's where I get my fillers, and I agree with you. I'm so checked out on that.
Like, I think,
that's why I haven't rushed to get Disney Plus, because honestly, I'm really hoping that maybe Apple and Disney might come to an agreement in a year from now, and Apple gets a hold of the Mandalorian, and I can watch it that way. Because money talks. Okay?
Oh, it does.
Even though Disney says no, Apple's gonna be like, look, man, you got a lot of people who didn't subscribe to you, and get you that extra cha-ching. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think right away that Apple will get Mandalorian or Obi-Wan, but I think Apple, because Apple's a big time player, and I know Apple wants to get the piece of the pie of that one as well too.
Yeah, I think for me though, I would just say this, there was a rumor before The Force Awakens came out and before we knew the title The Force Awakens. There was a rumor, maybe you guys remember this. There was a rumor going around that the title for Episode 7 was going to be, and you've probably heard me say this before, was going to be The Ancient Fear. And I don't know where that came from, or because The Force Awakens and Ancient Fear are like two completely different titles. But that was a rumor. And I remember when I heard that, I loved it. And the reason why I loved it was because it sounded so mysterious, and it sounded so like a sleeping giant. It sounded like, yes, the Empire is evil. Yes, Darth Vader, Insidious, and all. They were the most powerful things we've ever seen. And yes, 100%. Absolutely. But what if there was something or someone that was even more powerful, that we didn't even know about, that nobody saw coming, that was a sleeping giant, this ancient fear? And for me, I was like, I got goosebumps. I was like, man. So when I think of that, it feels very forward moving. Like, imagine now if they start going in that direction where it's like I get excited about that kind of stuff, making the universe kind of bigger, and it doesn't. I don't want to undermine the Empire or Vader and make them seem like weak in comparison. That's not what I mean. But what if there was something that was just beyond, imagination on some other galaxy or something? And I don't know. I like that kind of thing. Seeing shit with Obi-Wan and, Luke, and let's have a Vader series. It's like, I don't care. A lot of people do care. But I've seen all I need to see with Vader and know all I need to know. I don't need to see everything. It ruins the mystique for me. But that's how I feel. I don't know. Tony, I guess you're kind of sort of on the same lines there. Yeah.
Pretty much. So, yeah. You got a few super chats came in.
I did. Frank Riker says, thank you, Frank, by the way. Would you guys do a viewing of Coming? I was going to say Coming? Oh, Coming to America.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio. Movie. Yeah, we could totally do that.
Yeah, we could totally do that. Love that. Kevin Bacon's boner. KBB. Gotcha. All right. Rock on, buddy. Rock on. David Lee Barron, thank you, David, says, do you consider The Sandlot to be a coming-of-age movie? If so, do you like the movie? I did a lot. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. My favorite baseball movies, movie growing up, but that came out early 90s. Right? 93,
93? Yeah, 93, somewhere around there.
I own it. It's a movie I'll watch, once a year or something, or every other year. Yeah, it's a good coming of age. It falls within the Stand By Me type, category.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. I love that movie. I haven't watched that movie in a while, but yeah, no, I don't know if it's my favorite coming of age movie. I think my favorite coming of age movie is probably still Stand By Me. You could put the Goonies in there. I mean, there's a wild adventure around it, but I think Stand By Me is almost the quintessential poster child for what a coming of age movie is. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost the perfect sort of archetype kind of thing.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, it was good too. Yeah, no, I love The Sandlot. Flintstone says, Dave, are you Yoda? Yes, I am. I am Yoda. You've caught me. You've caught me. Mr. Movie Buff 01 says, you guys going to do a Shining Dr. Sleep episode? Eventually, I don't know if we'll do The Shining and Dr. Sleep together because Tony and I wanted, Tony and I want to do this justice. Yeah. And Tony and I The Shining is probably going to be like a 2 or 3 part, like, two dudes episode. Like, there's so much to go over in that.
I definitely think we'll probably do it as a live stream, right? Because you almost kind of need the movie as a reference to go along with it as we talk about such a layered film that to try to recall it as you're doing a stream and not have the reference there, you know what I mean? Like having the reference there, I could see that being, and maybe like Dave said, we break it up into a 2, because there's a lot with The Shining, not just the fact that it's a Kubrick film and how it was shot, but just all this, like the layers with that film. 100%. Dr. Sleep, I hadn't seen it yet, even though I understand it. There's a very Kubrick feel. It's still gonna be Kubrick, but there is a feel. I get it. I'm not saying that it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. Well, I think I've spoken to a few people who have seen the movie. They enjoyed the movie, and I asked them, does it feel like Kubrick? And they're like, well, yes, but to be fair, it feels like Kubrick when the Kubrick shit is on screen. So when you go back to the hotel, it feels like Kubrick because they're utilizing the music, and it's like, wow, this feels so Kubrick. Well,
movie shot that way where and that's what I've heard too. It's not finished, feel like you're watching a Kubrick film. No, it's just in those key moments where you're like, oh, this does feel like Kubrick.
Right, 100%. Hey, for those of you that may not know, I picked up, and again, Fright Rags is not a sponsor. I just really like this because I think it's cool. I bought the Halloween 1978 trading cards, and I thought I would open one. I've just purchased online from Amazon because I don't have them. Those books that you can put, the cards in. So I'm going to do that, but I thought I would, where did I put that thing now? I thought I would open one.
I wasn't like, yeah, but then I was like, no.
Oh, I did because I think it's cool.
Because I got that, but what's behind you, I'm on the waiting list.
You're on the waiting list? Nice.
No, that's not nice. I don't have it. I'm on the waiting list.
No, I meant nice that you're eventually going to get it, right? I mean, that's what's cool. Well, what's cool is that in these cards, obviously, I took the one that had Mickey as Richie running into the shape. I took that down with me, and when I had dinner with him, I gave it to him, and he was like, this is so rad, this is amazing. I was like, I felt good. But then he goes upstairs, so I'm chatting with his wife and his son, and he goes upstairs, and I thought maybe he was just using the bathroom or something, right? And he's upstairs, and he's yelling and hollering and still trying to kibitz with the conversation. And then he comes downstairs, and he's holding in his hand an original Halloween 1978 shooting script, along with an original recording.
Wait, I saw you post something like that.
Yes,
yeah,
the video, if you guys haven't seen it, the video is on my channel. It's a few vids back. You can watch it. He busts out that and an original recording of the Halloween theme on a reel, like reel to reel. Wow. And I'm like, dude, he's like, there you go.
How did it sound on reel to reel? Did you play it?
No. Because I don't think he has the setup to do that. Okay. But the script, now a shooting script is different from a spec script. A spec script is a script that something like the actor would get, and it plays out more like, it has all the dialogue and it has all the action, and it plays out more like you're reading a novel. Not quite, because it's very different, but that's sort of like, that's what a spec script is.
Script is more for the cinematographer,
correct, and the director, because they have all of like the camera angles and the shots and how they're going to lay all that out. Well, this was an original 1978 Halloween shooting script, and I took some photos.
Sat there and read that and just see like, okay, what were Cundy and Carpenter thinking here and shit. Were there notes on there or no?
Not that I saw. But of course, I mean, it's like 100 and something pages long, and I didn't, I'm in the middle of talking with them and having dinner. I couldn't really excuse myself, although he probably wouldn't have minded, to go and sit by his fire and just sit there, and, as much as I wanted to, I couldn't. So as we were talking, I flipped through, a couple of pages, and I took some photos, which you can see on my social media if you follow me. I took some photos, and Judith Myers was originally referred to in the shooting script anyway as Susan.
Sandy
Sorry?
Sandy Johnson.
Old Sandy Johnson. Yep.
She is riding that coattail.
Oh, is she ever? If you don't follow her on Instagram, you should. She's posting some pretty cool photos, though. But she was originally referred to as Susan in the shooting script, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Sure. But anyway, so that's really, I mean, you can watch the video. It's on my...
Judith?
I don't know. My guess is, I didn't notice that until after I got home and I was looking more closely at the photos. My guess is that it was probably just a placeholder until they solidified which they wanted, to.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, you're right.
So if you're interested in seeing that and me sort of geeking out and having orgasms over what Mickey is showing me, the video is on my channel, and Mickey's in it too, and it's absolutely hilarious. So anyway, when I found his trading card, I had to give it to him, but then what he showed me was like 10 times more impressive. Anyway, let's open one together. Okay, here we go.
I bet you never thought one day it would be a trading card.
No, he thought it was the coolest thing of all time. He's like, dude, this is amazing. He's like, I'm a trading card, and then his wife is like, his wife's so funny. I love his wife. Absolutely, just absolutely a doll. And she's like, I'm not really, it's not my thing. It's, it was okay. And he's like, honey, this is me in the, I'm the kid that tripped Tommy Doyle and broke. Honey, I've said this. They are like, I swear to God, Mickey, if you're watching, he's probably not watching, but if you are, you and your wife, you guys would make a great sitcom couple. I'm telling you right now, just the kibitzing between the two of them, I am in stitches laughing. I'm like, it'd be just the way it's, you can tell that they are madly in love and have been in love for years because of the way they tease each other and stuff. It's so hilarious. Anyway, he loved it. He thought it was great. So I've just opened this now. Let's see what we got. We got a sticker that says, "Where's my beer?" We got the Myers house. This is the Myers house rookie card right here. It's the Myers house. I just got 2 Myers house rookie cards in the same pack, baby.
What's the grade on it?
What's that?
Don't they have grades for like conditions?
What's the grade?
No.
What's the grade? I get it. Grade. Mint. Like, mint condition here. All right, it's mint. Well, it is mint because I just opened it up. Staging the scene. Annie?
I got to recreate that.
Yes, you do, you son of a bitch.
Pumpkin now. That's the original. That's the OG pumpkin. Fuck. That's the OG pumpkin.
Send me the links. One good scare. Pervert
bracket.
Pervert bracket. I love it. The way he's like, excuse me, Laurie.
Old man pervert bracket.
Doesn't look like he actually wants to say, hey, baby.
Yeah, he really does, though.
It's your funeral. Almost done here, guys. Ooh, utterly fantastic with the shape in the background.
Still photos from the movie.
I'd rather go with Ben Tramer. I don't know why they used that. That's a screen capture I would not have made into.
Notice that scene right there as he's holding perfect, nice 4:00 sunset. One moment later, it's pitch dark.
Hey, it's Haddonfield. That's just how they roll. The night just happens. Goodbye, Judith. Hey, I should send this to Sandy. She'd probably love that.
I'm sure she would.
She'd probably love it. And of course, you can't kill the boogeyman.
Oh, I love that.
Awesome shit. So yeah, that is really cool. And they have different level. Like there's a package that costs, I think it's about 120 something, and you get like stickers and all that kind of shit. That's the one I got because it's the full one. But you can get one that's like $30 or something, and just get all like the cards and I think it's $30. Maybe it's a bit more. But anyway, cool stuff. Cool stuff. So yeah, that was Fright Rags, and this is from Fright Rags as well. And again, they're not a sponsor of the channel. They don't know me. I don't know them. No, I
buy my t-shirts from them. I pay. Yeah. Like they don't. Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, I paid for all this. So just good shit. Hey, some super chats came in. Let's see here. Okay. Frank Riker says, Tony, will you see the Robert Jewell movie by Eastwood about the Atlanta Olympic bombing?
Definitely going to go see that. I'll probably see that before Dr. Sleep.
Awesome.
Actually, no, I will see that before Dr. Sleep.
Is that the 1996, right? Yeah, I remember that.
They filmed it right around here.
Cool. Well, that makes sense, right? DreedMem77, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Much appreciated. Says, Dave, Tony, what do you think Michael Myers will be? What do you think Michael Myers was like before he killed his sister? Do you think he was a normal kid and a switch went off that night? Or do you think he was evil even before that night? That's a good question. I would like to think that it was insidious.
Because there's a lot of ways you can go with that. You can go with that he was just a kid who just...
That's true.
He did what he did. There's no rhyme. There's no reason for it. There's no explanation. He just did what he did. Yeah. Or you were about to say what? Insidious?
Well, I think what was growing inside him was probably insidious, which it just means that, over time. But I think he probably appeared, I would like to think that he appeared, by all measure, a normal kid up until that point. I mean, maybe he was a bit shy or something like that, but he was normal. I mean, he was involved in maybe a little, t-ball or something, in the summer and he, was just in...
He was only 6 when he killed her, right?
Exactly. And maybe he had just begun grade 1, right? And he but by all measure, he was seemingly normal. And then, boom. I think that is really frightening.
In the movie, the kid who's playing young Michael is not 6. He's easily got to be close to 10, if not 11 years old.
Probably
right?
Something like that. Yeah, Sandon, his name.
A 6-year-old is a tiny little thing. You know what I mean? So when you people, that's one big thing that people don't seem to understand. For 1978, right. You're telling us a 6-year-old child.
That's right.
Is doing this. That tends to get overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
Because think about standing next to a 6-year-old. And now picture in your mind, okay, this is the age that Michael Myers kills his sister.
That's right. And I think it's a good question that I actually think, and again, when we answer questions like this, I like to sort of lean in the realm of probability. So what's most likely? And I think what's most likely is when you think of how Carpenter and Cundy and everybody involved were painting the picture of the Myers house, the family, the street. They were painting this typical Midwestern, not an affluent neighborhood necessarily, but just your typical average American family. So by any measure, I don't think they were trying to allude to that he was this weird kid on the block that all of a sudden, we knew that Mikey Myers was a little strange. I don't think that's what they were trying to paint when you look at everything else around it, right? If he came from the not that people who come from the slums, again, nuance people, nuance, right? But if you paint the picture like Rob Zombie did, right, where white trash from the ghetto, it's like, what a shock.
Wall, right.
Right. It's like, what a shock. But when you have this kind of a situation where it's this cute little, wartime home in the Midwest, and the parents, when you see them very briefly, when you see them look normal and well dressed and Michael and, and the teenager looks normal and the boyfriend looks normal. And I think there was this idea that I think it just, what the fuck just happened. And I think I would like to believe that, yes, that he just, no one saw this coming. Like, what the hell? I think that's the answer I would go with, because that's frightening beyond belief.
Sure.
Super chat from Jason Nike. Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. Dave and Tony would love to see a show on Cujo and Silver Bullet. Ooh.
We probably wouldn't, if we're doing it like in the style we're doing with Planes, Trains, and all these watching, we couldn't do it in one. Certainly I wouldn't movie night Cujo and one movie night with Silver Bullet. Those are two of my favorite Stephen King novels and adaptations.
Yes, and you're right. D. Wallace did do a great job. Cujo was just on recently. It was on TV. Maybe it was for Halloween.
You bring up a good point. Good thing, Jason, to mention that about D. D is a scream queen. When you think about her library of movies, a lot of it is in the horror genre. I know she does the Hallmark stuff too and whatnot.
She does. E.T. and
Yeah, she did a lot. She does a lot with Rob Zombie. She did a lot of this stuff in the '80s with Cujo and Silver Bullet. So yeah, she's a scream queen that we don't tend to talk about because I don't think people look at her. But really, when you do look at her resume, she does fall within that category.
She does. Yeah, no, she does. She's been in a lot of those types of movies. Yeah, Cujo, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Oh God, was she in?
Hills Have Eyes, right?
Yes, the original. Right. Was the original or the original, right? I think was the remake. Was it the remake? Oh, The Howling. That's right, The Howling. That's the one I was thinking of. The Howling. Yes, it's so true. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, she's been in a lot of them. Let me see here. Let me go back. Macca525 says, at Tony Michael, can you guess the movie and scene with my emojis? Ooh. Do you see that one there?
Movie and scene. Well, knife, smoke, pumpkin.
Knife, smoke, pumpkin. I'm going to...
Is there... Well, Halloween. Is there a blunt scene in Halloween that I don't remember? Well, was it when Jamie Lee and Annie were smoking weed in the car?
No, I think... Maybe. Like, it depends if the emojis... It depends if the emojis are telling a story or if they're just symbols of the scene. Like, it's a Halloween movie, it's the smoking scene, but you see, you have the knife there. So I'm going to say it's the scene where, because I think the knife is the representation of murder, smoking is the representation of the scene, and Halloween is the representation of the movie. So I'm going to say the scene where Linda and Bob are smoking and Michael kills Linda. Are we right? Are we right? Are we wrong?
Good question, though.
Who knows? Chris Lawson says, kid from Obsession episode was from Normal Family. They were rich, but he was so odd, so Michael-like. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think that's the likelihood, and that is terrifying because it goes completely against what you would expect and what the expectation is with, growing up in that kind of a family, right? It's Big G Super Chat says, if Jamie LC never played Lori, who would have? Well,
who else I did?
Yeah, because I don't think she was she wasn't the only one. Who would have? I don't know. There were a lot of people at that time that could have. Everybody from,
Remember now they're going on a budget because they had a budget to work with here
it's
too.
True, but you could have. I mean, everybody from maybe Sally Field, maybe
Charlie's Angels chicks.
Yeah, one of them. Maybe even. I mean, well, Carrie Fisher had just done Star Wars, so I'm going to say no.
Out of pay reach.
Yes, I would say so at that point. But had she not done, maybe
actresses on TV at that time too in '78.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
The girl from All in the Family at that time.
Oh yeah. What's her name?
Sally Fields.
Sally Field. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah. I think there's I don't know who would have, but it's a good question. It's a very good question.
It is. It's just trying to think of who at that time. Yeah, like a lot of people are saying here, like, or someone said here, Metaluna Zombie, an unknown. Yeah, an unknown to another unknown, someone that we didn't know. Because remember, Jamie Lee at the time was an unknown.
Oh yeah.
I knew who that was.
She was definitely an unknown. For sure. Super chat from David Lee Barron. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Sally Struthers, yeah. Kim Darby, yeah. Brooke Adams, yeah. Those are all good names, although some are a little out of reach than others. But do you miss movies having that once upon a time feel? Not fairy tale, but a slow build-up progression kind of movie. Nowadays, movies feel like, let's cut to the chase and get right into it. Well, I think there's a lot of movies that do that.
Movie that I like, to be honest with you, there's only one of those. And that's, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. That's it. Only once upon a time movie that I like, which is Princess Bride. I'm not a
Princess Bride. Yeah,
I'm not a big once upon a time fan type movie.
Well, David said there, not necessarily a fairy tale, but I think he's referring to a feeling rather than an execution. And I think that feeling still exists, but I definitely know what you're saying. I mean, it's just the world, movies in general now.
Changed.
Are faster paced and cut, yeah. and it's that's just how people want their entertainment, I guess. I mean, look at the superhero films, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum.
Zach Gaxonola at Dave McRae. I'm thinking of starting an movie review related YouTube channel. Any tips as to how to structure everything? I really respect and appreciate your judgment. Just be real, just be honest, and get prepared. Just be introduced to a lot of stupid people.
Yeah, I think
We're going to hate you and disagree with you on everything you've got to say.
Yeah, exactly. I think, well, my first advice would be know what you want to do. Like, know what you want to talk about.
Educated on the topic, too.
Yes. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Bring something unique to the table. Why are you doing this? Because you think it looks fun and you just want to do it and have your face out there and be known? Or do you have something you want to say? Is there something that like one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel, I mean, again, I've had my channel since 2006, but one of the reasons why I started to put my face out there and talk about Halloween was because nobody was talking about the things I was talking about. There were people that, when I say nobody, I mean, there might be somebody, but generally, right? Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was diving.
Yeah, there was just us and Wham.
Yeah, like diving deep into the symbolism and the lore and the what everything means and
taking it to that next level.
Yes, taking it to the next level. And when it was announced in 2017 that John Carpenter was going to come back and be involved in a new Halloween movie, that's when I uploaded one of my first videos doing this, where it was on my phone. It was here in my studio, and I just was talking about what I wanted to see, and that got great traction. And I think, I became known as sort of the Halloween guy because of I was able to add value and make people see certain things from different perspectives that they'd never seen before. Mm-hmm. And then I started to sort of just do that with other things. And I'm not a movie reviewer. I mean, I don't review movies on my channel. So because I don't want to be sort of, locked into that. And then there's an right.
That. It's like almost impossible to break.
100%. And then there's an expectation that when every kind of movie drops, I'm going to be talking about it. And I don't go out and see every movie that drops because I don't care to see every movie that drops. And I want to be in control of the content I put out. And if you enjoy it, that's great. But if you don't, that's okay too. So the reason why, and again, I'm a small channel. I mean, I only have nearly, 20,000 subs, and in the big picture. But the reason why I was able to amass even that many is because I was able to bring something that people find valuable, know what I'm talking about, stick to what I know. Like, I don't start talking about, I think Marvel should. I'm not a superhero guy. Now, I can talk at it from a logistics point of view and from show business and a business side of what I think maybe they should do, but I'm not going to pretend to know about the mythology and the characters and are you crazy? I'd look like an idiot because I don't know about Captain America and where he comes from and why he makes those decisions, and that would be dumb. Yeah. So I stick to what I know. And so my advice to you would be to find out what you know, what you're passionate about, stick to that, and through the process you learn, and there might be things that you discover along the way that you know a lot about that you didn't even know you did, and you can maybe talk about those things too. But the important thing is consistency, being consistent with your uploads. That doesn't mean you have to upload every 5 days a week, but you should be uploading at least once a week, at minimum, talking about something. And be real, be true. Don't be me. Don't try to, get on there and start going, hey folks, you fucking start swearing. Be you, whatever that is. You be you, I be me. And then you'll be great, because people will watch, and you'll attract maybe a different audience, but you'll attract an audience that likes you. Look, there are people that watch Wham that can't stand me. And there are people that watch Cody that can't stand me. And there are probably people that watch me that can't stand Cody. Like, everybody has a different personality. Like, I don't have anything against these guys, because we're not, in competition with each other. But there are a lot of people that watch us, and they, you might like my personality over somebody else's, and you might like somebody else's personality over mine. I'm a very sort of out there, eccentric, loud kind of guy. That's not for everybody, right? And people can read that. Like, if you get on YouTube and you try to be that guy, people will eat you alive, because they'll be like, dude, you're not that guy. Now, maybe you are that guy, but if you're not that guy and you try to be that guy, they'll be like, dude, you're not that guy. Just don't do that. Be you. So be authentic, be real to whatever that means for you. Be consistent with what you're or be consistent with your uploads, and talk about shit that you're passionate about and that you love. Because one of the things, even though I talk about Halloween a lot, one of the big things that I get from people, one of the big compliments I get, is how passionate I am for what I'm talking about. They can totally tell it's genuine. Like, I may not agree with Dave all the time. I may, this or that or whatever, but the dude is passionate about what he's talking about. And that can be infectious, contagious, and people will tune in. It's not about whether they agree with you. It's about whether they're watching you. And that's and start slow. Don't try to do everything at once, right? Just put yourself out there and let the chips fall where they may. That's what I have to say.
You literally, that is the exact, everything you said literally is what was been going through my mind on why I created a second Instagram account, because I focused in on, okay, my skill, which is a photographer, but drawing the content that I knew was going to get hits, which was the horror theme. Helped piggyback off of doing the show with you, talking about horror and all that stuff for that. But I knew I was more than just horror. So I knew, like, if I can get them in and people know, like, okay, well, this dude really knows what he's doing behind a camera. He's not just like blowing smoke up our ass. By showing them really cool photos in the horror genre, I knew in time that's when I could begin to introduce, like, oh, by the way, guys, I shoot all this other shit too. And I give them a little bit of a taste, enough to get a response from people sending me messages saying, bro, dudes, make another account, so we can see more of those types of photographs and not just be stuck into one thing. And that's the key thing that Dave said. Start off small, focus in on your target audience, but let your target audience know that, earn their respect. Like, hey, this guy knows knows his shit, knows what he's doing. And when you branch into other shit, and start doing other content, that's when you've gained and earned the respect from your audience, who are going to listen to what you, like you just said, they're listening to what you have to say regardless of the topic.
I think you're bang on, and Tony is absolutely 100% right. And it really, like, another thing I want to add, and then we'll move on here, but it's what's so important is, again, and I can't stress this enough. And I'm not, if you don't worry, it might come. But the reason why, I mean, listen, I've had my YouTube channel, like I said, since 2006. Why didn't I do this in 2006? I might have 1 million subs, now. But the reason,
nobody was doing this then.
No, but the reason is because, for whatever reason, it was timing. I found a need, because everybody that I was watching, most people, again, not everybody, but, I'm just saying, they weren't mentioning the things that I was, when they talk about Halloween, or they'd say, or everybody was saying the same thing. They were all saying the same general stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about what that means and what this means and how that relates to this and the symbol. I found a need. So I got on there and I started talking about it and filled that void, and people really appreciated that. So you, again, ask yourself, what am I bringing to the table? And how am I going to stand out? Am I just going to be another movie reviewer? Which, dude, do whatever you're going to do. I'm not trying to say don't do it, but I'm trying to give you that mind frame, right? That like, hey, what am I doing? Am I going to just be just like everybody else? Am I going to say the same things that everybody else is saying? What do you bring to the table? Find that out. And then you may be able to fill a void that people are like, hey, fuck yeah, all right, a couple of super chats came here. Nick, thank you, buddy, says, Dave, favorite landlord, Mr. Furley or Mr. Roper? Well, they're so different, because Don Knotts was very eccentric and wild, which was good.
And his eyes were selling shots big time. The bug eyes.
Oh, he was awesome. And they deliberately made him sort of the polar opposite of Roper, because I didn't want to have another Roper. But Mr. Roper, with his nuanced sort of looks and his breaking the fourth wall, smiling at the camera, and
well,
man,
Hurley, Don Knotts, who played Hurley, right?
Furley,
know where he
Furley.
I'm sorry, Furley. Yeah. Furley. You know where his inspiration for the bug eyes and knowing that the camera was going to be on him came from Carol O'Connor's Archie.
Oh, I did not know that.
He was inspired by Archie. Yeah, he was inspired by Archie, the close-ups and the Archie's facial expressions at times when Edith would start rambling on and on and on, and Archie would give those looks, and the camera would focus on it, creating that laughter. That's where he was inspired by, and realizing his reaction to whatever the girls were saying to him or Jack was saying to him.
Right.
That's where he got the idea, and that's how it blended in with the show. And I agree with you. They're two different types of characters, but they fit so well. I like them well.
I think it just depends on my mood. Like some days I'm in the mood to watch, seasons 1 to 3, which is the Ropers, and then Furley is season 4 to 8, right to the end. And a bit of trivia for
come and knock on our door.
Yeah, come and shit on our floor. No, so that's a whole other fucking show there, folks.
Yeah, it is.
But no, but what's his face? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Norman Fell, who played Mr. Roper. He didn't want to leave. Like, the Ropers were so good as they were that they were offered their own spin-off called The Ropers.
Yeah.
And actually, a voice actress I know was a series regular on that show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, her name is Stevie Valance, her stage name. And she was on there playing, I forget the character's name now, but anyway, I just had a conversation with her the other day. Really, really cool. But nonetheless, but Norman Fell didn't want to leave because he knew that the Ropers weren't necessarily ripe for, it seems like it. Oh, these two would be great with their own sitcom as the stars, but they were complementary. They were the nice little accessory pieces that filled everything out. And the chemistry between him and Jack was just priceless. And Norman Fell knew that. And they said to him, okay, well,
yeah, they didn't have that on-screen, not chemistry, not the word, but the demand to where, for example, where it worked, two characters, the Jeffersons from All in the Family, they built that family up through All in the Family, that when it became a spinoff, people wanted the Jeffersons, and it made sense. They, his laundry business became successful. It's moved up Frasier to the and Cheers. Part. Exactly. The other character that was on All in the Family that people don't remember is also Maude, who's played by what's her name?
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur.
That's right.
And again, there was a demand there because of B's, on-screen,
100%.
presence. You wanted that.
That's
the
right.
Ropers, they are that character. The Ropers are like, certain. They're like Mike and Gloria in All in the Family. Like Mike and Gloria could not go off and do their own show because you needed Mike's chemistry with Archie.
Exactly.
That's how that worked. So the Ropers were the same way.
100%. And maybe by the end of Three's Company, maybe. But
it's like you're milking the cow big time at that point.
Well, and John, Ritter tried to do Three's a Crowd, and that flopped, big time. But what ended up happening is that the network said, okay, how about you do one season, and if it fails, you can come back, I think, or something like that. And Norman Fell agreed to it. Now, Audrey Lindley, or Lindley, I think is her name, who played Helen, she was all for it. She was excited to do a spinoff. Yes, but Norman Fell didn't want to. So anyway, so they eventually did, and they, I think, did 2 seasons, and and Norman wanted to come back, and they were like, no, you can't. The agreement was if it only did 1 season and blah, blah, blah. So unfortunately, he didn't come back. And so they just did the 3 seasons, but very different. But I think it depends. I think both equally really good. And Three's Company was lucky. You had the whole Suzanne Summers thing, and then they replaced her, and then they replaced the landlord, and it was still consistently successful.
They replaced Joyce DeWitt too, right? Or
no.
Did she play Janet the whole run?
She played Janet the whole run.
She did.
She played Janet the whole run. And Suzanne Summers, listen, we're not going to go on it, but Suzanne Summers, attractive.
Buns of Steel?
Yeah, sure. Attractive.
Wasn't that the product she was
No, the
marketing
Thigh
today?
Master.
Thigh Master, that's what
Thigh Master. Fuck, was hilarious. Hey, if you grew up in the 80s, you know exactly what we're talking about. So, but she, of course, had that big thing where she thought she was bigger than life and wanted, equal pay as her co-star, which was ridiculous. I mean, John Ritter was the star of that show. He was the star. Most of the plot points revolved around his character. That doesn't mean that she wasn't important. But anyway, long story short, she left the show. She was fired, essentially, because she basically said, well, I'm not going to work unless you pay me more. And they're like, okay, fine. And she didn't believe that they would fire her because she thought she was more integral to the show than she really was, apparently. Because now some people might say the show was not the same after she left. I disagree. I think the show actually was maybe not quite the same, but fine. I mean, certainly.
No, it wasn't until they got to the third blonde that that's when it started to go down a little
Well,
bit.
actually, I think she was better than Cindy. The third blonde was Terry. Yeah, I like Terry better than Cindy.
I think Terry was good. I think it was the story element that it was just there was enough of it already,
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was wearing thin. But the thing that's crazy is that, like, you look at Chrissy Snow in seasons 1 and 2, and she's like, I agree, and I'm not partial to blondes. That doesn't mean I don't think blondes are attractive. All you blondes out there who are watching, blondes are gorgeous, but we all have our preferences, right? And so I tend to lean a little more, like, I will notice a brunette before I notice a blonde. But yeah, in seasons 1 and 2, Suzanne Summers is really attractive. She's really cute. And I think actually I lean more towards her than I do Joyce DeWitt, who's the brunette. But by the time you get to season 3 and 4, I don't know what they did. And Suzanne says, I finally found, I'm like, Chrissy Snow is fucking stupid. She was naive and cute in the first couple of seasons and a little naive. But by the time you get to seasons like 3 and 4, you would be literally afraid to leave her home cooking alone. You would be afraid to have, she became this clown, and she was like really, really, really dumb. And she was just not attractive to me at all. And her hair was like bleached white, and it was just, oh my God, it was atrocious. And ironically, Joyce DeWitt in seasons 3 and 4, especially 4, I thought looked way better than Suzanne Summers did. But that's my opinion.
So that means you must be a Rebecca, not a Diane. The classic, who do you like better, Rebecca or Diane?
Well, here's the thing. I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend, actually. Funny enough. Because she loves...
For those who don't know, that's a Cheers reference. Rebecca, Christy Alley's character in Cheers, and Diane Shelley Long's character in Cheers.
Right. The other day, my girlfriend and I were watching some clips of Cheers, because we love Cheers and Frasier. So we were watching some clips on YouTube, and I was watching Shelley Long, and I turned to my girlfriend, who's a brunette, and I'm like, funny enough, I said, I actually find Shelley Long more attractive and cuter than, what's her face?
Christy Alley.
Thank you. And it's not that she's not attractive. She's attractive. Of course she is.
No, I agree.
But my girlfriend turned to me and said, well, I know what it is. And I'm paraphrasing. And she's absolutely right. She says, it's the character of who they are.
Yep.
Shelley Long's character is more likable, cuter, right? More fun. Whereas Kirstie Alley's character is more, uptight and, so that's one thing there. The other thing is that Shelley Long's character, Diane, has cuter features. So more of the girl next door kind of smaller, cuter features. Whereas Kirstie Alley has a bit more bolder. Not that bold features aren't attractive. They are. But I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And she was sort of explaining that because she's really good at that kind of stuff. Like she knows all, a lot about that kind of stuff. So I was like, that's totally true. There's more of a girl next door. I guess I kind of have a girl next door thing or something. She told me that. Like, you like girl next doors. I was like, I guess I do. So there's that. Even though she's blonde, if I had my choice, I'd be like, I would totally go out on a date with Diane.
Everything you said is spot on, 100%. Except I'm gonna challenge you on this on Netflix, because you can watch it on Netflix. Just watch Kirstie Alley in season 6, her first season with Cheers. She is smoking. She is like, honestly, no matter what Shelley Long was in 1 through 5, Kirstie Alley is on fire in that her first season. Whoever they had for her stylist and her overall look, just, I mean, God damn, that woman was fine. Gotcha. I will take Kirstie Alley in season 6 over Shelley Long any day. However, everything you just said, in the overall, where Rebecca gets to, then that's where I would take Shelley Long over Kirstie Alley. But Kirstie Alley season 6, no fucking way. She's smoking.
Well, I'll have to tune into it then.
Like, his improv reaction was spot on when Ted Danson first sees Rebecca. He improvised that. That was his like, and it was like, yep, I would be bumbling words too if I saw that walk through the door.
Right, that's funny. Super chat from Jason Knight. Thanks, buddy. Says, Tony, I love your photos. Would love to see a Jason Live shot where he follows Paula from outside the cabin.
The Jason, that's why I haven't done a Jason photo in some time. The Sackhead Jason, I'm still gonna do, but I've finally got the costume and it should be here. I want to say either this week or it's coming to me next week. I have the full Jason Part 6 costume ready to go. I had a guy make it for me, and I'm kind of going to do a nice little like segue out of Sackhead Jason in a photo into hockey mask Jason. I think that's the way I'm going to do that. We're going to shoot it up at the work because I live 30 minutes from the filming location of Friday the 13th Part 6. We're going to shoot it up at the campgrounds where they filmed the movie, everywhere in town. We're going to shoot it at the cemetery and all of that. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to bring this Jason to life. The reason why I chose this version of Jason is the convenience of the fact that I live that close to the Part 6 filming location.
Exactly.
I can recreate that shot. It is my favorite Jason. I take nothing away from Part 4 or Part 3. I know, Dave, you like 4 is your favorite version of Jason. I'm a big
3 and 4. 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of 2 and Part 6. Yes. It doesn't mean I won't do a Jason 3 or 4 shoot. I may, because it's pretty much in line with the Part 6 costume. It just altered a little bit. The mask is obviously different. But yeah, no, on the horror part of my Instagram, the Tony Michael photo, first week of December or first weekend of December is where we're targeting for the first Jason Lives photo shoot. And I'm excited to finally
Can't wait to see it, buddy. Yeah. I can't wait to see it. Awesome. Let's see here. Flynn Stone says, is Dave ginger, or am I colorblind? Orange suits him though, just because of the Halloween. No, I'm not a ginger. No, I'm a brunette. I got brown hair, buddy. Brown hair, blue eyes.
Yes, Jacqueline. Perfect wording. Rebecca changed on Cheers. In her first season or 2, she was shown as more of a serious businesswoman. That is totally true. And then, yes, you're right. As it progresses, she became this over-emotional, whiny, like, you just want to tell her, shut up.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And I didn't like that decision. Fun fact, by the way, this is how lazy Kirstie Alley got with the show as it progressed. The reason why she has a cigar box in her hand at all times, they didn't have it in the first 2 seasons, is because she wouldn't remember her lines. So she wrote her lines in the cigar box.
Interesting.
That's why she always had, like, slips in her hands and shit. It was her fucking lines.
I didn't even know that. The fuck? It was a fucking line.
But that's how lazy she got. I think there's a lot of what ifs when it comes to Cheers. I think Shelley Long has a lot of regrets. I think she realized she left the show way too soon. I think she thought the show didn't have any life left in it when it went on for more seasons. I think she has a lot of regret. I think the show would have been very different had Shelley Long stayed there. I think you would have probably had to get her and Sam together and married. Have them married in the final maybe season or 2. I don't think you could go on with this on-off thing anymore.
Right.
I think people were really growing tired of it, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't hate the last 6 seasons of Cheers. I love it. It's just the Rebecca character. Yeah, Jacqueline, that was perfectly worded. She just got on my fucking nerves, man. You're just like, shut up.
Super chat from Big G says, why did censor allow kid to be shot in Precinct 13? I haven't seen Assault on Precinct 13 in a long time. So fortunately I can't answer that for you, buddy, but I appreciate the support to the channel. Thank you. Let's see here. Jacqueline McEwen. just the one that you just read. Hey, Jacqueline McEwen, great supporter of the channel. She's a patron of mine. Let's see here. Chastity Smith says, Dave, what do you think about the Alyssa Milano? Who's the boss? She's the girl next door. Well,
I like Alyssa in the 80s. I'm not a big fan of hers in the 2019. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I will say, well, here's what's kind of funny. My brother Neil was a huge Alyssa Milano fan when she was on Who's the Boss. That was his sort of, girl crush. And when I became a teenager in the early 90s, and then I discovered Jennifer Love Hewitt, who doesn't look like Alyssa Milano, but same kind of girl next door sort of thing, and a brunette. I remember one day I was looking at when the internet was still in its infancy, and you could discover, wow, I can actually look at pictures of Jennifer Love Hewitt on this thing called the internet. Hey, hang on a sec. I gotta turn on the internet, because the internet, you actually had to turn on the internet, for those of you that don't know that. And then you'd hear and hope to God that nobody picks up the phone and knocks you off. So there I am, actually looking at photos of Jennifer Love Hewitt on the internet, Party of Five, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And my brother Neil walks into the room, and he's like, "Oh, do you like that girl?" So I was like, "Yeah, I think she's really cute." And he's like, "That's so funny." And I don't know, I guess it was a brother moment, because my brother Neil is 9 years older than me, and I'm the baby, but I'm not the mistake. I know people think, you must be the mistake. No, I'm actually not. I was planned. But anyway, so I guess I would have been maybe like 16, 17, and Neil was like 25.
How old were your parents when they had you?
My mom was 35 and my dad was 37.
Man, good on you, Mrs. McRae, 35.
Yeah,
wow.
That's right. Yeah, and so I have a sister right now who's 55, and I have a brother who's 51, and a brother who's 49, and I'm 40. And then I have a younger half sister who's 32 or 3.
All in Canada?
Oh yeah. So anyway, I guess it was sort of a brother moment, because I guess he was beginning to look, I was a teenager, and
sure.
He was seeing me a bit differently now, right? Like Dave's a teenager looking at girls and shit, even though I was like
man, me and
17.
my brother had that exact same moment with Kelly Kapowski and Saved by the Bell and Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
We
both kind of looked, we're like, oh, we're here now, aren't we? We're at this stage in life.
Exactly. But he thought it was kind of funny, because he was like, oh, that, and he had this moment where he was like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, I have a preference for brunettes, and my brother has a preference for brunette. It was kind of interesting. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but where was I going with that? You said so.
Oh no, it's because the same, like, with you and your brother. Me and my brother were the same way. With the 90210 girls. He was a Brenda fan. I was a Kelly fan. The blonde, the brunette. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Alyssa Milano thing. Yeah, no, I didn't realize this until I think it was my girlfriend that pointed it out, actually, and she has very sort of cute kind of girl next door features too, and she pointed it out, and we always have a good laugh about it, that I guess I tend to be, I never really thought about it, but she's very good at this kind of stuff. And she was like, well, I guess you kind of, you have, and I was like, I guess I kind of, not that if there was a woman that had bolder sort of features that I wouldn't find them attractive. I mean, there's lots of women that have bolder sort of features. Sure. So I'm like, wow, she's very attractive. But it's just kind of like what you tend to sort of instinctually, almost biologically feel, you are attracted towards, right? And it's really interesting,
Well, it's funny because with Alyssa Milano, and she's very attractive, and she was very attractive and very attractive. Absolutely. I'm not saying that at all, but I tell you what, any day of the week and twice on Sunday, give me Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge. Any day of the week, Nicole Eggert, Charles in Charge. Anybody who's watching this or in the chat room, Nicole Eggert and Charles in Charge in that room there. She was smoking.
Dude, I got it. You know what? I would love to start binge watching Charles in Charge. Let me just.
I have those seasons just because of her. That's the only reason why I have that show, is because I had the biggest crush on Nicole Eggert, a little more so than Alyssa Milano. It was the blonde thing. She just.
Yep, I understand.
She looks so good.
Totally understand. Totally understand.
I don't blame you, Scotty, for hitting on her.
Boston Kennedy says, did you guys see the trailer for Uncut Gems? Looks like Sandler is going to actually act again. I have seen that trailer, and it does look good, although I don't know if it is, but it does look good.
That's a serious kind of mobster-like movie.
Right.
Yes, right. I did see that. That trailer played in front of Joker.
Oh, yes, it did.
It played in front of my Joker. Oh, it did for you as well, too?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, that
let's
does
see.
look good.
Okay, we'll go for a few more minutes here. It's already 2.5 hours, so we'll go for a few more minutes. Let me see. Jacqueline McEwen says Dave. Oh, she's talking to Dave Barry. Or Dave Barry, humor. Oh, no, talking about Dave Barry. Excuse me. Dave Barry, humor columnist, once described the sound of dial-up internet as duck choking on a kazoo. Oh, yeah, that's so great.
About accurate.
That is. And it was
accurate.
so, you know, for those of you that are old enough to remember, I mean, you remember that if somebody in your house picked up the phone, it would knock you off because it was through, you know, the phone lines.
Yeah.
And I remember that happening all the time. Be like, oh, man. And then, of course, once cable came, it was like, oh my God. And you mean it's just on? I don't have to put in a password and log on? Or yeah, it was really fun.
I kind of miss, I mean, I'm glad we're here with technology. I think it's great, but I do miss the innocence of what we did have. You know what I mean?
We
were very innocent and naive, because even though I'm pretty confident, no, I know a lot of this stuff that we're seeing, you know, that we're inundated with, like with just daily news stuff and what goes on in the world, shit like that was going on. It's always been going on, protests, all that stuff like that. The world has always been fucking upside down.
100%.
The difference was we were shielded from all that because we didn't have this like vast, you know, information at our disposal. So we didn't have like it's condensed everything down to where the world, in my opinion, I think is become smaller.
100%.
Like, because I've got people following me and who watch us here from the other side of the globe, and you're like, wow, really?
100%.
What the fuck?
Absolutely. I think what the one thing there's a lot of things I miss, but one thing I do miss, and I know that we still do this today. I mean, Tony and I were doing it today when Tony was trying to get online. It's the instant messaging. But what I miss though is the instant messaging without all the other crap
noise
that's with it. Yep. So like people often say to me, like when I say that, well, you can instant message on Instagram and Facebook. I say, well, yeah, but you have all the other stuff that comes with it, like the feeds and the news feeds, which is great. Like it's a catch-22 because it's amazing and it's great. And you can see photos of people and share photos and it's all amazing. But I miss the days where all it was ICQ, you know, when they tell you there was a message.
ICQ,
and I remember when I got to college, you could hear that. I guess, but it was just cool. And you got excited when, you know, maybe there was a girl you liked that was online or, you know, maybe, and I don't know. I miss the simplicity of that. I mean, I was already well into my 20s, or, you know, we were when that happened, but it just wasn't, it was like the messaging without all the noise, you know, and it was kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Very true.
But,
you want to take that last super chat and then we can wrap it?
Yeah, let's do that. Jason Knight just sent in a super chat. He says, Dave, thank you, buddy, by the way. Dave, have you noticed how Freddy wheezes in original Nightmare movie? By the way, I have contributed twice to Dylan's new Nightmare. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate it. Yes, by the way, I heard today from Cecil that Dylan's new Nightmare just received a co-producer. We've just crossed the $20,000 mark.
Awesome. So green light?
We're
closing in on green light.
We're closing in on it. I mean,
cool.
The production budget is at $40,000. I think. I mean, ideally, we'd like to get to that. But I think Cecil would like to get maybe close to 25, up and around there, to make it sort of more of a reality. Obviously, the closer we get to 40, the better, because these things cost money. I mean, some people have said, you know, is Heather going to be in it? Well, keep donating. You know, it's like, these things cost money.
So to quote a very famous prophet who once said, you're halfway there and you're living on a prayer.
There you go. There you go.
Bon Jovi.
But
he wasn't a prophet.
You know, he wasn't a prophet. But Jason, thank you so much for doing that. And there was somebody that I just want to say this, and I know there's only 60 people watching, but I'll probably say it again maybe because I'm planning. I know that Miko and I and Cecil we're probably going to do a live stream on my channel very soon to kind of help promote it. And I'll mention it there too, but somebody reached out to me the other day and was, I got the sense they were very disappointed because they said, well, the perks are not like they were trying. There's a perk. Not that we're expecting anybody to, you know, donate via this perk, but it's there if somebody has the cash to burn, which is it's a $10,000 perk, and you get like everything. You get the costume I wear in the movie, you get the Blu-ray and the DVD and the glove and the this and the that and all this kind of stuff. It's a heck of a perk. But they said, you know, what you get in return is not worth the value of what is donated. And I just want to explain, and I had to explain to them that, you know, it's not supposed to be. Now, Indiegogo campaigns, like, it's not a store, right? So you don't go in and you're not buying an article that's worth what you donate. The donation, however you want to donate, whether it's $2, whether it's $5 or whatever it is. Sometimes what you get in a perk does align with sort of what you've, you know, donated, but not all the time. Because what it is that you're contributing to helping raise money to make the movie a reality. And then for your very kind donation, you then get an incentive and a perk on behalf of that. But the money that you donate, first and foremost, goes towards helping the movie a reality. It's paying for my life cast. It's paying for, you know, the equipment. It's paying for, you know, my flight ticket there. It's all this stuff. It's making the film a reality. And for that generous donation, whatever it is, you get this perk, right?
That is the catch-22 of the situation you guys are in, because I get it. Like, you want people to donate, but in this world we live in, it's like, well, okay, I'm going to give up my money. What am I going to get back in return?
Well, right. Well, but I think I think people have to understand that it's like they're, you know, and it's
and
like
then on the flip side, fans are like, hey, why don't you guys make stuff? Well, it costs money to make shit.
Right. And it's important to remember that you know, and it's like this across the board with all Indiegogo campaigns, is that, you know, it's not a store. It's not like you walk in and say, well, I'm going to give you $30, therefore I want $30 in return. Now, sometimes that ends up happening, right? Where the $30 campaign is a Blu-ray copy of the film or something like that, which might work out to be in and around that. But that's not the idea of what it is. You make a donation, however much that is. You don't have to make the high ones. You can that's why there are different tiers, right? And then for that, you get a perk and an incentive. And these perks are really, you know, I mean, the perks for the campaign are outstanding. And by the way, the sweater and the glove alone is over $500, right? You know what I mean? And then you get all this and you get that and I mean, it's just,
well, and that's
perks
why,
are
like,
outstanding. So I just want to finish by saying that, that perk is 13,000. That's Canadian, right?
Canadian,
that's 13,000 Canadian. It's
US.
actually 10,000 US, right? So if you're in Canada, that's what it would be. But that perk is not there to say you have to donate to that. That perk is there for, you know, angel investors. It's there for people who have that money to burn. If you have that money to burn, you're more than entitled to do that. And in that, you get all this stuff, which is probably worth a couple $1,000 when you actually tally it all up. But I think some people who may be a bit, and when I say ignorant, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean maybe are not familiar with Indiegogo or Kickstarter or like how this kind of thing works, is that they might naively think that it works as like a store, you know, and it's not a store. It's not a charity per se, but it's raising money, and this is what you get for that. But you're helping make the film a reality, and so far, everybody who has donated, we really appreciate it, because now, like, we want to make, like, you look at what the teaser is, and Vincent DeSante, who is the writer, director, star, and producer of Never Hike Alone, he's a producer on this, and that level of production value is what we want to bring to Dylan's new Ninghtmare. But we can't achieve that level of production value on $5,000. You can't, I mean, you know, Never Hike Alone, I think, cost, I don't want to speak for Vince, but it was something like a $30,000 picture. I mean,
somewhere around there, I think.
Yeah, you can't achieve that level on a $5,000 film. No. So, you know, Cecil said, if we only raise $5,000, we're not going to not make anything, but we might just be able to shoot like one scene. But when you bring Nora Hewitt on, who is a professional special effects makeup artist from Hollywood, she's handling all the gore effects and the blood and she's doing the life or she did it on me, and she's like, we're doing prosthetics, like Robert Englund style prosthetic makeup. Like, this is the level we're going here, folks, not a mask, right? And so that costs, cash. So again, it's there. That's why there's different tiers. However you want to help, we really appreciate it. Jason, thank you so much. To anybody else who is watching, thank you, because you are helping make this a reality and bringing this to the screen. I mean, that is what you're doing. I mean, and without you, as Tony said, it wouldn't be possible. These things cost money, right? And the more money we can raise, the more interesting surprises there could be. Just keep that in mind.
Well, no, I mean, it's the way I think you and I are heading towards, as far as making our own fan film. I think we're on board with this idea of doing something that takes place after the events of Halloween 4 and bringing Danielle Harrison and bringing Ellie in to bring their Rachel and Jamie character back. But to do something like that, the reality is we're going to need a backing, and the backing from that is really going to come from you guys. And I would like to think you have definitely earned Dave's trust to keep, the film to be good and not just be something really slapped together and a piece of shit. And with me behind the camera shooting it as well too, I would hope
there you go.
that visually what you guys have seen on my Instagram, that I'm going to do it. We're going to do it justice. Right. We're not going to half-ass this, but like Dave said, this shit costs money to do. We're not going to get Danielle Harris for free. We might get Ellie for pretty decent, but Danielle, forget about it. It's going to cost us money to do that. And then everything else that goes into shooting a movie like that, you've got craft services, you've got permits. It's not just going out with a camera and saying, okay, let's make a fan film.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of money involved in it. And I'm confident that that's going to probably end up being the first project Dave and I collaborate on.
It might be,
as a fan film goes. That seems where we're heading towards. We want to make it happen, but it's going to cost us money to make this shit happen.
Yep. I noticed that the time on the stream started over about 10 minutes ago. It must have.
Yeah, it glitched for a split second.
It glitched for a split second.
I saw that, and I was going to say something, but then I saw it come back, and I was like, well, I'm not going to say anything. So.
Yeah, we're back. So let's just, okay, well, we'll wrap up here in a second. But Tony's absolutely right. I mean, take It's Me, Billy, right? The Black Christmas fan film that I'm in development on. Now, we're nowhere near pre-production yet. We're still working on the second draft of the script. But when we launch our Indiegogo campaign, I mean, ballpark, we're probably going to be looking to raise about 25,000 for it. Because keep in mind, I mean, just the rental, and Tony knows this, just the rental of a location, like just to rent a location alone, like say there's a house we want to use, right? And we need to shoot in that house from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we need to shoot in that house from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. for 3 days.
Right.
Well, that alone is going to cost us, and I've already looked into it because this is what you do when you start to this process. There are some houses that I am very interested in this area that could cost me about $1,000 a day. And that's just in location. So think about that. So $3,000 of the $25,000 is just the location. That's not equipment rental. That's not craft services. That's not the actors. That's not, I mean, when you want to achieve never hike alone level, it costs money.
Costs money.
And that's why we do this. But you get to be a part of it in the sense that I help bring that to life. And then you get this incentive for that. And naturally, the more you donate, obviously, the more extravagant the perk will be. But those perks are there for those who can. They're not there saying that you have to do that. I mean, that's the thing. Every little bit helps. If you want to donate $5, that's amazing. That's $5. Yeah. That's $5 more than they have right now. Right. So everybody in the chat room who has done so, we love you guys. We appreciate it because you are helping make this a reality. And that's really important. Without you, it wouldn't be a reality. Right? You know what I mean? So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Now, there was one last thing he said, though. He said, Dave, did you notice that Freddy wheezes in the original Nightmare movie? Wheezes? Like, I didn't really notice that.
He does. There are some scenes, if you listen closely, he's got a little bit of a heavy breathing sound.
He does. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I know. I thought you meant like he's out of breath because he was running.
That might be something you might want to tap into.
Maybe.
As far as tapping into your character there.
You're absolutely right. And then Macca525 says, thoughts on Netflix making Beverly Hills Cop 4? Listen.
I didn't even know they were doing it.
Well, it's in the works.
Okay.
As long as it's good and Eddie Murphy is back, I would love to see it. I would love
Eddie
to see
Murphy, Beverly Hills from back, not PC Eddie Murphy. I don't want that.
Right. Not PC Eddie Murphy and not Beverly Hills Cop 3 from 1994.
I want Eddie Raw Murphy.
Yes.
God,
well, I want Eddie Murphy from part 1 and 2, not part 3. I hated that movie. I didn't like part 3. I wasn't a big fan.
Is that the Joe? No, I was thinking of Lethal Weapon, the Joe Pesci one.
No, the Beverly Hills Cop 3 is the one that takes place at the amusement park. It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. George Lucas has a cameo in that movie, by the way, just so you guys know. All right, that's going to do it for Tony and I on episode 46.
Should we tell the kiddies about the big one next week? Next one's a big one. That's a big mama.
I forget what next one is. Can you give me a clue? Can you at me right now?
You want me to just
send me a message?
Because I can give you a hint. All I have to do is say one word, and you're gonna know what it is.
Okay, send that to me.
Oh, send it?
No. Send the word.
I thought you said saying.
Yeah, because for some reason I'm blanking. Sorry, I had a fucking crazy ass like last week or so. I sent a super chat, Macca525. You did, buddy? Let me see. Thoughts? Oh, I think we just answered that one. Thank you so much. Okay, Tony's going to send it to me now. He's sending it to me via Insta.
I said it as a phrase. In my opinion, I think it is.
What are we... Are we doing that?
Yeah.
Wait.
Because it falls within the end of November time frame. It falls within that.
Can you send me another clue because I'm blanking? Like I have like 3 or 4 different ideas. Send me another clue. I'm blanking. I'm blanking.
1973. There's been nothing like an impact like that ever since. People were passing out in the theaters when they saw it.
But I thought we already did it.
No, we didn't do a live watch.
Oh, a live watch.
Yeah, we didn't do a live watch.
Oh, we're doing a live watch. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's
gonna be an exciting one.
That is gonna be an exciting one.
Should we tell them?
Okay, go ahead. You tell them.
You tell them.
You tell.
You tell.
No, you tell.
We're doing the Who's On First routine here. Well, someone in the chat room's already got it.
There you go. Yeah, next week, Tony and I are going to be watching live The Exorcist live. Yes. Now, we've done a show in the past where we've talked about it, but we want to watch The Exorcist live with you guys.
And really talk about the context of everything we talked about in the stream and talking about the shots and the scenes and the
That's
cinema.
Right.
Like, we're going to be able to get real deep into just like the tech side of filmmaking and just... Because you're talking about one of the greatest, movies ever made, and just cinematography wise, it's just so beautifully shot.
100%.
Everything that they did, practical, and the effects and whatnot. This when we were pitching the ideas of what to watch live throughout the month of December, The Exorcist itself, if you watch the movie, it falls place in like Halloween. It's towards the beginning, middle becomes like mid-November, and towards the end, I think they're just past Thanksgiving, like just getting close to December. It's not quite the holidays, but you're getting that feel of past that, So
that's right.
Timing of it was like, hey, well, why don't we do this, first weekend of December? Because we got a good run of December movies.
We do, because we have some Christmas/horror Christmas movies coming, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Slash Christmassy action movies.
That's right. Big G, last super chat, last question of the night says, Dave, my girlfriend wants you to song "Oh Paul" now. Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Oh Paul.
Oliver
All right,
Mercer,
here we go.
That's a. Are we doing the special edition of The Exorcist or the original? Because I have both. You just got to tell me which version we were going to watch.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Oh Paul.
Good one though, Oliver.
Oh Paul. Oh, Paul, I give you all. Clink, clink, clink. No keys, but please, my Paul. There you go. I hope your girlfriend's happy. What's your girlfriend's name? I'll give her a shout out.
What is it?
I just asked. We'll see.
Oh.
Big G says if she wants her name known. Maybe she doesn't want her name known. And I respect that too. Maybe give us an alias. Linda. Hello,
Yeah.
Linda.
Well,
Linda. Maybe that's an alias. Who knows? All right. That's going to do it for us. Yes. Next week, Tony and I will be watching The Exorcist live. We'll let you know whether it's the director, like the theatrical cut or the director's cut or whatever.
Right.
And thanks very much. Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. And Tony and I will talk to you later. All righty. Cheers.
Later.